Hello, hello. Today I will be mostly in just chatting category. I'm sorry I had to adjust my mic. I'm still learning how things are, you know. Anyway, I know I still owe it to all of you to finish Expedition 33, but I didn't feel like playing it today. It really feels like I shouldn't hasten that game too much, yeah. It's a beautiful game. It's a beautiful game, and it deserves all my attention. Not just some late night stream at 1 a.m., right? So I figured, let's just talk today. Let to know everybody a little better, and sort of establish this stream for what it is or what it might be in the future. So we're currently listening to a song called Bonsai. It's from Turbo Night, one of the new retrowave wonders. Go check it out. I particularly love the Athena song of his. I don't know if it is, yeah, the Athena is album, and there's a cult. There's a song that's called Athena as well, and there's a lot of songs that are being named after Greek gods or etc. You don't hear anything except my voice. Ah, okay. That's interesting. How is that now? Okay, I had it really toned down. I will tone it down, but not as much this time. Minus 6 decibels should be fine. Like, at all? Oh my god, I'm yelling. It's quite enough. It might be the Spotify issue, honestly. Oh well, should be much better now. Anyway. I wanted to play the Midnight Rain. We're not going to listen to this, not yet. So anyway, how do you like my setup? I have my office, my chair, you know, my board, everything. Might as well put this away because we've already started. So I figured that in here I can like write stuff if it's needed, you know. Whatever, like la la la, right? Everything. It's amazing. I'm a millennial, you know. I grew up in the 90s. I was born in the 80s, but I grew up in the 90s. And we really did imagine the future to be a little bit different. You know, we imagined flying cars, you know, and like mega cities, you know, and often like flying into space and that sort of stuff. Instead, we got basically the premise of the future was that everything is going to grow bigger. The reality is everything grew smaller. So instead of flying cars, we have now essentially what would be considered supercomputers back in the 90s in your phone. Like your phone today could run better games than your PC in the 90s. How cool is that? I can literally right here on my screen and in real time translate it into the whole world. That is sort of progress. But we just do it on the screen. Now, in the 90s, we thought that this technology would be like throughout holograms or something like that. Oh well. So, here's the plan, right? I will slowly, stream by stream, will be progressing towards finishing Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. It's a phenomenal game. As I said, I don't want to just rush it to the finish line. I want to really make sure that I enjoy the game, I explore it to its finest, and I don't want to go through it too quickly or rush it or whatever, you know, not to be afraid of like missing out anything like that. I just avoid all of the spoilers. I will go on my pace. But other than that, I'm currently deciding what I'm going to do with this channel. Now, I'm trying to do some valuable content on my secondary channel, so if you don't know what it is, I have now a description on my YouTube channel where you can find the link. So if the consulting, IT, self-service, you know, these kind of things interest you, at least in the slightest, there are 2 videos already there and third one is coming. I'm trying to tackle issues that I personally have been working on when I was working as a consultant and methodologist in various companies. But other than that, I'm currently trying to decide what to do with my main channel. So considering that 99% of things that I have there are gaming related, I will just keep it on as a gaming channel and as my main streaming platform. Now obviously the rest, the 1%, is me fooling around with the swords, so for which I will be actually creating fully dedicated just HEMA channel just for that. So me and my lovely wife, we are actually progressing onto sabers. We've already, well, not mastered, but let's say we know a little bit, thing or two about long swords, rapiers and quarterstaffs. So the next course in action is going to be studying sabers. So we are going to do just that. I think just documenting our journey from absolute beginners in sabers to whatever, however far we can progress with sabers, that is going to be neat. So stay tuned for that. So yeah, the Jaxer Raywhisper channel will be officially just dedicated to games, gaming, and various analysis, game throughs, live streams, etc. With that said, I do tend to play and stream Souls games and story games. So I will be every now and then playing story game like Clair Obscur and maybe Souls games. After Clair Obscur is finished, I will proceed on to AI Limit, which is the game that I bought. So, about AI Limit. So does anyone know how can I set it up so it is always, so the background of the MS Paint is always black? Because if I delete this, it's white, right? I would like, maybe if I invert color, okay, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. Where was I? All right. I think the game that is called AI Limit is kind of ironic in this age where we think that AI is starting to be limitless. But regardless, it is a Souls game, right? And I know I have a couple of funds of Souls games. I've earned a couple of funds on my channel, actually, from simply watching me playing Souls games. You know, Stevie, he's wonderful. Bionicle, amazing. But they are mostly focused on Souls games. So Limit will be right up their alley. However, I don't want to play only Souls games. I want to play story games as well. So hence Expedition 33. But we will do more than that. My passion, my real passion, are basically MMOs, and always has been. I have played them all, like most of us who are playing that sort of niche. So I will be focusing on those a lot as well. Another question is which one, and more. Okay. How did you delete everything? If I just. God damn it. We have a background color. Okay. Ah, now it's working. Okay, my bad. It's actually easy. I'm an idiot. How did I not know this? Like MS Paint is like the oldest like graphical program there is. Well, not literally, but I remember like the first draw in old MS-DOS before Windows came out. That was pretty similar, actually. You could basically color everything. I was fascinated by it as a kid. What was it called anyway? Let me search it. Let me Google it. Yeah, right. That's the one. What was it called? A paintbrush. Oh my god. Yeah, I remember that one. It was so basic yet so effective. I was fascinated by it as a kid. Let me show it to you. So it looked something like this, right? Hold on, I need to. So it looked something like this, right? And you can see all of these little tools that you could use. Basically, this is basically MS Paint. It was called, I think, I don't know what it was called, actually. Hold up. PC Paint. So MS Paint is basically an extension of that. This is how it all started. And I remember all these little icons. I was fascinated by this as a kid. I didn't really understood, or like when I was fooling around with this, I could have been like what, 4 years old, about that age, and I didn't really understand the difference between like games and various softwares. For me, everything was fascinating as long as it had some nice pictures in it. And I remember whenever you were starting this one, there were like very colorful palm trees, if I remember correctly. Could have been palm trees. Yeah, it used to be palm trees. So I was watching those. I was like, oh my, that is amazing. And then I would try to draw my own things, and usually I was trying to, you know, see and for myself what this is capable of. If I go back to MS Paint, actually, the OG one, it would go something like this, right? You would have this tool, which is like spray, but you could have been spraying much bigger, and I was always just fascinated by like trying to use this paint and just just hold it until all of the pixels were suddenly gone, and then just trying to fill the whole screen with different colors. Yeah, I'm 4 years old again. I was just doing this. It was so much fun. Well, obviously, from what you can see right here, you can tell that I never am going to be an artist because I cannot draw anything but stick figures. But hey, as a kid, I used to have a lot of fun with this. So anyway, what was I talking about? Right, gaming. So I don't know which MMO starter focused, because people watching MMOs is usually, whenever you want to stream an MMO, it is a commitment. People probably won't take, or your funds, if you have any funds, they won't take it very kindly if you start hopping from MMOs to MMOs. Because they like their game. They want their game to be validated. They want their game to be appreciated for what it is. And I should focus on one, so I don't know which one is going to be. But looking at the state of MMOs that we have right now, all over the place, it is not really looking that great, right? I did enjoy New World, but New World is kind of dying game right now. And the reasons I enjoy it was the sandboxiness and exploration, and they're taking that away. So which leaves me with this one, with Black Desert Online. I don't even have that installed. I thought I'm going to end this. I'm not going to play video again, but it seems like I will just gravitate back to it. Often when you see people who are big in video, they're making videos and like reading the comments where somebody is like, oh my god, this game is dead, I quit. And the usual reaction to this is like, yeah, well, see you in 6 months. And god damn it, it's been like 3 to 4 months for me since I uninstalled video, and I haven't really played it because I have a lot of issues with it. But yeah, I'm thinking about coming back to this. You see those issues that you can have with a game? They are really... they seem not important if you take a huge break and just come back to video for what it is, which means beautiful environments and, you know, exploring, you know, having your horsey, having your little house. Which is another thing. Housing. The game has housing, and I don't take me wrong, I don't think that housing is good. I think the housing in Black Desert Online could have been much, much better. I think the Final Fantasy Elder Scrolls Online are much better, and when World of Warcraft drops housing, it's going to be big. Plus, a lot of people just don't care about houses. They just, you know, have house, slum in as much furniture as they can so they can have number one house and then use the nodes in the city to produce gold bars for free. Which, sure. But I like the fact that you can have your little home. You know, you can live here, you can decorate it any way you want to. And essentially just have your little place, little coziness in this wilderness. And I like how they do houses. I didn't mind houses in New World as well. Even though I bought wonderful house in Everfall, and then they renamed it to Oxborough, or whatever the name of that village is now, and completely redo the houses. It looks like some sort of industrial era England now, instead of that cozy pioneer village, which is kind of weird. But you can see the pattern. The things I enjoyed in video, for example, hunting. Right, the life skilling hunting, where you have a musket and you can shoot deer or rhinos with it, and then skin them for meat and leather and stuff, and it can be good alternative source of income. Don't take me wrong. And I love that in New World as well. But New World is slowly deviating from what it once was, which was this pioneering New World kind of game, into more focused on these aliens and the old ones, you know, fantasy elements. And you can see this, for example, what the hell is the greatsword that they added? You know, you have rapier that looks like rapier, you have hatchet, you have musket, you have bow, and then they add something that looks like from Berserk anime. Why? They think it looks like it weighs like 15 kilograms. You should have added just a normal montante. And the worst part is, I like greatsword mechanically in New World. Like, sure, combat of BDO is something else, but I didn't particularly mind combat in New World. And combat with greatsword is really fun, but I just don't like how it looks, how big it is. Especially when my second weapon is musket, and then I have them both over my shoulder, and then just greatsword is just obstructing everything because it is so huge. Black Desert Online has same greatsword on warrior, but I don't mind because Black Desert Online embraced this high fantasy setting, right? But I think the crucial difference that I have between New World and Black Desert Online is Black Desert Online, despite all of the nonsense, despite them basically abandoning the lore in favor of releasing the crazy cowgirl from alternative timeline America, you know, and all of that stuff, it still feels kind of alive. New World feels very empty. Sure, you can explore, you can feel like you're living like a pioneer in the wilderness, you know, hunt for a living, all of that stuff that you can do in BDO as well. But it feels kind of pointless. And the fact that there are no NPC shops, it irritates me. I like the fact that in BDO you can take your own approach how to make money, and making money your basically goal if you don't want to be PvPer. If you want to just PvE, casually exploring, you know, going on adventures, selling stuff that you find, selling stuff that you make, you can do all of those things. New World feels dead, and the less players are playing, the more dead it feels in the long run. I logged into New World recently. Couldn't play for more than 5 minutes. I collected a couple of herbs and that was it. Killed a crocodile, skinned him, but everything felt so artificial. And I hate the fact that I'm feeling like this about the game, because once I loved New World, I just died, like a lot of MMOs that coming out. Do you remember, anybody is still remember Lost Ark? Right, that game basically dead. Right? After all the issues with like pay to win and bots, etc. And yeah, you can say the BDO is pay to win as well, but is it? Because I don't know. I really don't. It's weird. It is weird. Is it still live? Lost Ark? Well, they didn't close it. That's for sure, but I don't know. I don't know if you could call it live. The saddest part about Lost Ark is how to put it. Once they did have a lot of players in it, like loads and loads of players. But, this important but, it was all bots. Like the majority of populations were bots, which kind of defeats the purpose, of playing MMOs. Like, for some reasons, the botting could be good. For example, there's a lot of stuff that you can collect in Lost Ark, right? Various collections that you are putting together, but you can also, once you collected it, you can also put it on auction house. So essentially what bots did, where they were doing this quote-unquote slave labor. They were just killing stuff and picking this up and earning gold to the bot owners by selling this stuff on the market. And it was really cheap, so you could really easily just spend some silver. I think it was silver. Was it silver? The currency? I don't even remember. Silver, it doesn't matter. It's just money, right? So you could just spend a little bit of money and fill in your collection of collectibles, basically, without any work. But obviously, in the long term, this is very harmful to the game, because if there was players looting this stuff, it would be much more expensive, because there is only that much of the collectibles that players can loot up. If you have a bot farm, it's something entirely different, especially in the free game. Pretty looking hollow game, you say? Yeah, I do kind of agree. That's pretty much it. Yeah, it's pretty looking hollow game. Yeah, I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't say it better myself. How does BDO compares to these games? Well, it is pretty looking, but it for sure isn't hollow. Like, people do have their reasons to play, so they do. That is a good thing. It really is. So anyway, the thing I wanted to talk about today, which kind of like a home-based game I'm going to pick. I was really thinking about World of Warcraft too, but there is so many people playing World of Warcraft, and it's all the same. Like, I think you can go to World of Warcraft if you have people who like you and will follow you, but you can't make it in World of Warcraft to build an audience, because whatever I do, there will be people that are better than me. I'm heroic raider, but why would anybody watch that if they can watch mythic raiders, right? I can run some delves maybe, and like some people were watching me running delves, but then again, we have M+ content, and even if I was starting with M+ content, there will always be people just running high keys. Now, if I would want to tackle the lore of World of Warcraft, we already have Nobel for that. It's kind of hard, even though I'm playing excessive amount of World of Warcraft lately, especially after my work fiasco, where I was forced to leave the work because the CEO was a moron. But hey, it is what it is. What I'm going to be doing occasionally on my Twitch streams is I will go to this coworker category, as I'm going to be creating my videos on my consulting channel. think that could be a good idea. And it will also force me to focus on my work instead of doing a million things, which is kind of ironic considering the nature of the video I'm creating, where I'm trying to describe my ways of how to tackle the work if you get easily distracted. Anyway, what we're seeing here is a little video I made. It's a little older. I uploaded it on YouTube 3 months ago. It's not public. But the original recording was December 3rd, 2021. As you can see right here. So in case you don't know the situation about the Twitch recently, they announced basically that they will no longer will be supporting you saving your own videos and your own highlights on your channel. And you can basically have 100 hours of saved channel you can have, and everything else is just going to be nuked. I at a time had about 600 hours, if I remember correctly, of pre-recorded content. Well, not pre-recorded, more like recorded, because every time I finished a story game, I highlighted it. Every time I did something cool in a game, I highlighted it, and I was just saving it in my Twitch channel. And suddenly Twitch said, well, people are not watching it, and we don't want to hear it just taking up our resources, so just you have 100 hours, and everything else is going to be deleted. So I had to move years of content from Twitch to YouTube. Luckily, their export function, while it is a little bit slow process, it works. So day by day, I was just moving stuff into my YouTube channel. That is why on YouTube channel you can still see these older videos of games. Right now we are finishing, I think it is Sinking City right now. I think 2 more episodes to go, so 2 more days. Then I will probably release Guardians of Galaxy and a lot of other things like that. But yeah, this is on my YouTube channel currently. It is not released. It is private video. But this is something that has been on my Twitch channel for a while. I was kind of I was creating this live, so it is not like scripted. It is not even edited. I was just rambling as I went, and it was just a funny experience. It was kind of a parody because you cannot really take it seriously. But it was the traveling documentary about Forest of Trent, which is here in the name. I might release this video later, but for now, let's rewatch it right here. Hello everybody, my name is Raywhisper, and today I would like to invite you on an exploration of Forests of Trent. Now, oh my god, just hearing this music. The Trent and the forests around it must be my most favorite of locations in BTO to this day. I remember just fooling around here back when the Camasylvia wasn't even around yet. You would actually hit literally the invisible wall if you would try to go to Camasylvia. Then they opened the Camasylvia, and I like Camasylvia. It has this like nice high fantasy, elvish vibes. Same with Odolita. But the Trent, the music around Trent, the old NPCs before they redubbed them, which I still remembered. I loved living in Trent. I was just collecting mushrooms, killing 3 ants at my level 55. Striker, exploring the cave where recently they added those angry cultists, and there was a time where they absolutely annihilated me. Like I couldn't fight even one. But nowadays it's kind of, you can go there and farm them with your full Tuvala gear if you have some, or just upgrade your gear, because nowadays the power creep is somewhere else. But yeah, the Trent, discovering that cave, by the way, it was like you could get there throughout the well. You could get there if you found a hole in the mountains. I think there are about like 2 or 3 entrances on various places of the forest. So it really felt like you are on an adventure, like you are exploring something. It was great.
let's watch.
Meet my brave explorer. This is the guardian named Beltime, and
yeah, so Beltime is still to this day my main. Basically, I have her as my main, and my target character is Striker. So I have like the combo of the two most basic, like the most overpowered by nature for grinding characters in the game. I think Striker is top tier even for PvP. The Guardian, not so much, but both of them are just great for grinding mobs because it's basically easy mode. You don't need some super high APM, you know, you don't need to tactize. You just use your Guardian, her big, like I play Awakened Guardian, by the way. So just to be just for it to be a little bit more easier. Same with like Striker, also Awakened Striker, and you can just obliterate stuff. You know, don't really think about it. Just get into the flow. You don't need to do all of that micromanaging that ninjas are doing. You know, you don't need to guide like Dark Knights. You just go straight in like a warrior. You know, you hit your head against the wall until the wall breaks, or your head breaks and you die. But that usually doesn't happen because I don't really do some sort of top content. But yeah, she's pretty much she even looks the same. It's like the design for this character of mine was put together by my girlfriend based on my initial design of my Guardian. The design of my Striker, I don't think you are going to be seeing him in this video, but design of my Striker is created by me. It's like one of the few characters that I designed by myself, and I'm pretty proud of him. But yeah, I'm still using this outfit. I have a couple of outfits for her. This is still my favorite. The colors is what makes it so pretty. Like I like this leathery orange-ish color, you know, with this brown and this nice black cover of her personality, etc.
this is going to be a person we are going to explore the forests of Trent with. I hope this is going to...
Look at the tattoos. Oh my god. It's looking so good. So the costume has its own tattoos, and it's overlapping with the tattoos that I gave her on character creation. So the black is hers, and the blue is from the costume. And developers were like, let's just leave it all in, you know? And I like the look.
to be the start of a whole new series where I will slowly, territory by territory, explore the not so common locations and not necessarily the top grind spots, but more like nice places that we can find throughout the world of Black Desert. Now, you might know that Trent is a location, or rather a forest with a centerpiece of Trent village that is lying west of Calpheon and east of Camasilvia. So without further ado, welcome to Trent.
Yeah, that didn't happen, by the way. The series, this is the only one I have ever made. It's mostly because I really like Trent and the surroundings. And the other areas, I love like the nature, you know, exploring and all of those areas of video, but I realized that, yeah, I wouldn't really have that much to talk about on the other locations. And don't take me wrong, like I still think that like Odilita is even prettier to explore than Trent. You know, Valencia, the desert, it's great. Like it's not forest. It's like a desert, you know. Everybody's dying of thirst there, but still, you know, Margoria, you can explore the whole freaking sea. But I just love Trent so much that I was able to put this video on the go, just live, no editing, you know, almost zero script. It's just exploring and rambling. Oh, I wasn't able to do this for any other location. I will probably release this video unless I deem it here on the stream that it's not really worthy for releasing, unless there are some really major flaws that I wouldn't like to go public. Well, it is going public because this is stream, but I'll probably just release it once I will schedule it after the last episode of Sinking City. What do you say? Keep in mind, this is 4 years old.
We are starting our journey at the village of Trent, which is a centerpiece for anybody who really wants to do something around these parts. Further to the east lies a village of Bear, and further to the west we would find Camasilvia. Separated from the Trent forest by a huge pass of mountains with several passages through, known as Camasilvia passages. The village of Trent is basically a lumber mill where a lot of lumber workers work tirelessly to bring wood for the supporting war efforts and other needs of Calpheon City, and some believe that the best wood in the whole world of Black Desert comes from Trent. While this might be debatable, by the looks of village alone, we can see that life is actually thriving here. That's it.
What am I even talking about? I have so many pauses while talking. For some reason I was like nervous. It didn't occur to me at the time that I could maybe, instead of streaming and creating video out of streaming, I could maybe just, just record it and then cut it into pieces and put it out as a video. But I was really trying to make content for Twitch at that time. I should have been focusing on the YouTube.
Twitch is not made for this kind of content, I think. Twitch is made for this kind of content that I'm doing right now. Just watching something live and learning from my past mistakes. That's the ideal environment for that. Let's take our journey. I've left my mount that I called Sintra right here at the stables. Oh right, it was before the time where everybody had like tier 9 horses. So it's tier 8. So my story of BDO is very... Well, I'm not going to say tragic, but let's say whenever I'm playing Black Desert Online and I achieve something, it is usually like 2-3 months maximum when they announce or straight up implement that same thing for free. So when I first get my Pen Black Star weapon, they announced that they are going to be putting Pen Black Star for free on the ball. When I first got enough silver to buy off the market my tier 9 Doom horse, it was about 2 months before they announced everybody is going to get free Doom horse. So that sort of thing, it happens all the time. When I finally got some Dead to Pen accessories, I went for Tungrat. They announced Karazat, and that was essentially when I stopped playing. But maybe I will start again and will focus on my Karazat earrings and accessories in general. We'll see. First, let me show you a little about the village. Of course, if you would like to do so, you can claim for yourself one of these beautiful log cabins that are all over this place. Similar log cabins can be found in the little settlement called Bear. Give me a second, I just need to give some...
It's just feeding the workers. During the documentary, that's...
chicken meat to my workers. So
yeah, that's perfectly normal.
Hoarding my supplies.
Very professional documentarist, I would say.
One of the nice touches about these log cabins are these wood carvings that are engraved onto the Oh yeah, I totally
blocks
forgot about them.
themselves, and it is really
Yeah, if you look closely, this is actually wood carvings on these logs. I completely forgot about this. But this is what I loved about the old BDO, all of the details. I don't even know if we have this in new locations. Maybe we do. I think the Ailton and Mountain of Eternal Winter from the like atmospheric point alone is one of the best content they ever have given us. The music, the locations, everything.
really easy to miss those, but it is giving a nice touch to the whole village and to the whole forest people culture. Now, from one of the many dangers that we can find around the trend.
It's better than starving them, or more like sober them up. What? Let them sober up. Well, my workers have been sober for like years. Even 4 years back, I have been already feeding them chicken, right? No beer. Beer is no. They're working mostly for beer. Well, you're not wrong. But also, I just feed them solely chicken, and they work for chicken. You know, if you want to have your worker empire, do not cook beer. Just if you cook beer, just sell it. Creating or cooking steamed grilled chicken is easier. It gives more energy to your workers, and you lose less silver for using chicken than using beer. The beer is straight up much better to be. Maybe it is not the case anymore. But for this chicken, you basically just need one worker to collect chicken for you, and then you can cook as much of those chicken as you need to. While for beer, you need grains, and those grains can be sold much better than just birds. So yeah, just don't do that.
It will be treants, basically. What are treants? It's well, yeah, basically the Tolkien-like treants. It's basically forest people. Some of them are some sort of humanoid spirits, others are more like carvings in shape of various animals or stumps, and they are all alive trying to kill you, so that's always a nice touch, right? Anyway, should you venture deeper into the forest, take care, because there are some aggressive creatures out there, and treants being mainly the most common all around here. Of course, the trend isn't just a forest and a village. There is a lot of things we can explore, and I'm not going to lie, I don't know every single one of those, but I would like to discover those places with you. Now, if we look at the map here, we can see that basically this whole area, beginning here at the Catfishman Lake and ending a little bit here, let's say this node called Bear Downstream, this is all what I consider myself trend, and this is what we are going to be exploring. Basically this circle around this main path. If we would go further to the southwest, we would go to the Hex Sanctuary, and this is something else entirely, which I will be exploring some other time.
I did not explore that other time.
We can go to the Kamasilvia through this Lemuria guard post over here, or we can explore the cursed place right around here. And of course, further south would be Jigen, and further north would be Calpheon and surrounding farms and territories, and Var Effort at China Fort, that sort of stuff. Further north, around this very mountain here, we would find Catfishman Lake, Lake Kaya, or known more like Catfishman Lake. which is inhabited by catfishmen and their other pals, and yeah, it can be dangerous area as well. We can find some water bosses around here, namely Chief Muraka, who is a mutated troll chief, and approaching this monster would be really unwise if you are on your own. The main reason this place is my favorite is how nice the forests look. You can go around, you can gather some wood, you can gather some animal meat if you are good at hunting, etc. It's a very relaxing place, but as you can see on the map, there is an abandoned monastery, which is a party of 2 recommended territory, with recommended AP of 280, which is to this day one of the top grinding spot there is. But to get there is a little bit tricky, and we will at least look at the monsters. We are not going to hunt them because I'm a little bit undergeared for that even on my mine, which is yeah, I am not top-notch player. And either way, if we follow this road, we will inevitably end at the little settlement of Behar. You can see the mine road is well populated. We have a lot of people wandering, venturing back and forth between villages, between outposts. We have a functional bridge here, but for example, right here, we can get to some trouble. By the way, as you can see here, there is a little settlement. Obviously, you can see to the village of Trent from here. Still, it got attacked, and it is unknown if it was like a Cyclops or maybe an Ogre attack, one of those two, or if that was one of those big treants. We don't know, but we can still see some scouting party that are trying to fix the thing together. I don't actually know what happened here, but a little bit of backstory can be found in this quest over here. So we will talk to the soldier, who warns us that it's dangerous and we should take a step back. If giant basically wrecks your cabin, yeah, there is a pretty high danger that even if the giant is away, that the cabin can still fall on you, which of course, we are black spirit possessed adventurer, this will not stop us. So, I can see how it is, but the soldier warns us we shouldn't go further. He's surprised that we want to help. I mean, yeah, he obviously didn't met an adventurer before, so yeah. Also just need help. If you don't...
Okay. Some of these side quests are so stupid. And I don't know what it is about the dialogue, but every single time you read a dialogue from an NPC, translated to English from Korean, and it is happening only in Korean games. Only in Korean games, okay? I want to emphasize on this. BDO is prime example of that, because if you look at Japanese games, Final Fantasy XIV, quests are just like as if you were reading World of Warcraft. It makes sense. But if it is Lost Ark, BDO, Throne and Liberty, whatever, whenever it's a Korean game, there is always something slightly off about the dialogue of the NPCs. They're always overreacting in every situation. Absolutely surprised somebody wants to help. Talking a lot, and it is always written from a perspective that it is wannabe dialogue, but your character never speaks. Now, your character never speaks in World of Warcraft either. Or in Final Fantasy. Well, in Final Fantasy they do. They just making you stay basically silent and just show you the animation of some sort of notion of speaking. But it is never this over the top. It is like watching one of those movies. You know, BDO is just like watching one of those movies where they have amazing exposition, amazing like camera, amazing effects.
but the dialogue was written by a troglodyte. That's literally it.
If you don't mind, I'll request this of you. There is a terrified soldier in the house. Please help him escape. We will save the wounded soldiers when the reinforcements arrive. Okay. What we do...
You know, worst part is when BDO is trying to be cinematic. And they are making cutscenes like those with Jordan. Most of them were so cringe. The new questline of Balinos, it is something so cringe. But it's also intriguing at the same time. So it is cringy, but intriguing because lore is there. You know, lore exists, and until they start doing stupid things, like the cowboy class, like the Deadeye. You know, I would say, okay, give us cowboy girl, you know, let her be like a gunslinger, let her have revolvers, whatever. But the fact that she's literally from like Arizona or whatever, where she is, transported from real world into BDO, like what were they smoking? It was like a clear message to me that like, nope, we are just taking the lore and throwing it into garbage because we don't care. We just want the Americans to feel valued. So we were going to give them the American cowgirl with guns. Black Desert Online is now just America friendly. You know, you have your cowgirl. You know, she even has her tongue sticking out of her shorts. You know, she has cowboy hat. She has guns. She's from Arizona. She probably has American passport on her still. I was like, okay. I was trying to look for lore in this game for a long time, and there is some lore. Some of this is sweet, like the Nova quest, the exclusive quest for Nova, where you learn about her father, and you have that picture of him with the little Nova just sitting on his lap. It was almost as emotional as some of the Final Fantasy quest for me. I loved that quest. And they even had like these glimpses of hope that lore can be good, and they could like take that lore that nobody is talking about. You know, they had Elezra, they had Black Spirits, the Ancients, all of those mysteries. Nope, guns. It was the realization point for me. I was like, you know what? If developers think that this game has no lore, how can I find lore? You know what I mean? It is just... I think they made it a little better with Rework questline, but not much. Well, as I said, the Rework questline, I loved what they tried to do with Mountain of Eternal Winter. A lot of people just spamming R, don't care about the story at all. I think that's a huge miss. I think that story was at least intriguing, if not like phenomenal. It was intriguing, the music was nice, the atmosphere was nice, and I really was a little bit curious about what's going to happen to Jordan. It was quirky, it was like apparent that BDO engine is not done. It's not great tool for cutscenes. You know, every cutscene is glitching. Your character is looking like he is or she is floating. You know, the walking incredibly slow. All of those things. But hey, this is what we the MMO audience. You know, MMO RPG players. We have so low standards that nobody cares. You know, if this was in Assassin's Creed Shadows, for example, it would be slammed to the ground. If this is in any kind of MMOs, we're like, yeah, it's fine. They try to do the story, let them do the story. And I was fine with that as well. And I kind of like it, especially the music in Mountain of Eternal Winter. Oh my god, that was phenomenal. And then I tried Magnus. I know a lot of people hate Magnus Quest. But I was so enchanted by how beautiful that questline was. It felt like something new, something fresh. There was this globe floating above endless sea. That sea had no like storms, no waves. There was no... It really felt, if there would exist some sort of infinite sphere where gods would be residing to create like life and that sort of thing, this is how I would imagine it. The music of Magnus was so retro. It was amazing. I love these retro vibes. And if you would just look at your character, like everything was glistening. It looked like one of those fantasy movies from the 80s and 90s, you know. Never-ending Story could be one of the example. Like when they just go to the city on a boat and there is this queen and everything is shining. It is very cheesy, very cliche. But for that particular reason, it works. And then you had these amazing quests, like following the cat on a boat, or what was there? You know, like carrying various stuff, escaping in the shadows. You know, do not let the troll see you. All of these like non-combat scenarios, and I had a blast. It was great to play. It was great soundtrack to listen, and obviously story was tailored, but it was tailored in a game to tie it all together somehow. So Magnus and these wells that we are jumping in made sense. And I appreciate that effort. But then they just go ham and introduce Cowboy from America. Like, it was like they gave up. Like they were trying so hard to make the story, realized the player base is just RRR, skip everything. And instead of just keep pushing the story as they should, for those few people that like the lore, that like the story, they were like, they don't care, so, you know, let's introduce guns from Arizona and make some quick bucks. And I felt so betrayed at that point. Now, reworked Balenos questline, it's not great, but it is better than it used to be. They're at least trying to make it make sense. The cutscenes are still clunky. You know, they're trying for this cinematic approach. It is more clunky than anything else. But if they rework the whole main quest line in this, you know, streamline it, sure, I'm all for it. Just do it. You know, sometimes it is cringy. Dialogue is still bad, but little better than it used to be, and at least there is a dialogue. We have voice acted cutscenes, all of those things. Now, it's like Final Fantasy from Wish, right? It's crappy, it's cheesy, it's cringy, but at least it's not terrible. That's my take on it. But still, a lot of things, as it is usual with Korean games, a lot of things are lost in translation. I feel like whenever Koreans are trying to translate something to English, it goes from like, I don't know, 5-6 peoples to the final voice actor. And that's why that sort of interaction between characters is so bad. Sometimes it feels like both of them are talking about something else entirely and still having a conversation. But, you know, even that was better than a freaking Deadeye with guns from Arizona. Like, excuse me? At that point, you're just going to play BDO for atmosphere, because you can ignore the lore. Because developers for sure do. Anyway, let's go back. Sorry for the ramble. Do here, as we go inside, we'll talk to the terrified soldier who obviously is not injured, but she is scared. So she's terrified even. That's probably a Cyclops. Deep dialogue. This is not Final Fantasy, but it was. I thought it might have been a Cyclops. But, thinking about it, the damage of this cost, there is this huge ass treant just walking through the forest. I think he just accidentally stepped on the building and destroyed it as he was taking a stroll around. I still wonder to this day what his deal is, because you cannot interact with him. He doesn't hurt you if he goes over you. Maybe he was like a planned boss back in like 2014 or 2016, whenever they released this game. It was 2016, wasn't it? or 215, 214, I'm not sure. But yeah, maybe that's the thing. But they just forgot about him. So he's just roaming there because it's cool, but they never really elaborate on what that trend or what that giant should represent, or if it is like a boss, or if you should appease him so he stops stomping the forest. I don't know. But I don't mind. You know, there is a huge giant walking through tree and forest. I think that's cool. I think these things are what is making Black Desert Online cool. There is still a bit of story. The most story that we can find in this game is environmental. So basically our dialogue isn't always the brightest. There is this environment that tells you the story. And we will meet a lot of places like this in our journey. The escape was success? Thank you. I mean, yeah, it was like few steps, but whatever. We get some contribution. Yeah, we escorted her 10 meters away from when she originally was. And you get paid for that. Well, you don't really get paid. Nowadays, usually you get like 100,000 silver for everything you do. Point, we get some energy, we get some... Which is like, you save a cat from a rooftop and you get paid small gold bar. Where are these cats in real life? I want to go to rescue some. For a gold bar? Fuck yeah. XP, yeah. It's a neat little quest. If you have like 30 seconds to spare, do it when you have a way around here. That said, we will derive from the main road that would lead us through this other post and this elven post all the way to the Bear village. And I will leave exploration of Bear village to later date. To the date. No, I didn't cover Bear. What was I doing for 2 hours? Oh my god, we are only 10 minutes in. Because that will be our anchor point when we go exploring Hex Sanctuary and the Curse of Undead. We will not, I never did. I never did any of these videos I'm talking about now. I just fell out of flow. I think this whole format is like, it's an original and funny idea. But doing the whole map, I don't think it's a job for me. I think somebody could do a much better job while covering this. I'm not a documentarist. Hex Marie... And I don't know those locations as well. Most of those locations. Like, I know where the mobs are, you know. I know where the quest NPCs are. These sort of things. But if you are doing the documentary, these are the things that you should avoid. You should instead just go to little things like this broken cabin, you know, or the things that I have mentioned, you know, they are carving on the logs and these sort of things. Ex Mariavich and all of those good things, but yeah. We will derive from the road right here and we will go explore the city more. As we can see. Oh my god. Oh, yes, this is Kalk, by the way. One of the hunting monsters. One of the very rare hunting monsters. He is on par with the blue whale that you can hunt in the ocean or on the seas around the north coast of... Okay, I wouldn't say really on par. I think his loot is much less valuable than the one from the whale. But hey, whatever. Maybe I was just coping because the Kalk is actually a hunting monster that I was able to take solo. The way I did it was I hit around one of these rocks where he constantly is just circling around, and whenever he was flying around, I would like shoot him 3 to 4 times before he flew away. And after about like 20 to 30 minutes, I killed him and was able to get rewards, and it was waste of time, basically. That's what it was. But I felt accomplished, so hey, everything's good, right? Serendia, was it? I think it's Serendia. No, it's Balanos. I'm sorry, it's Balanos. And north from Balanos is the sea. And then it goes to the Margoria Ocean. It's that sort of thing. The Kalk is the creature, big one, that circles these woods, and you can shoot it down if you have good musket and from the party of at least like 2 or 3 friends. I mean, it can be done solo. I did it solo, but it take me a lot of time, and the reward wasn't that much great. So, do not recommend.
Yeah, that's
this
what I
to
was
do on
saying.
your own. As for our next, and I didn't know they are in here also, but we can see here the otter people. Now the otter people, they live here in Cryoville, but in here they are basically bathing their youngs. They are teaching them how to swim and all that good stuff, so that's great.
Otters are cute.
Let's explore.
Respect the cuteness.
Okay, right. Okay, technical difficulties, I can't swim. Okay, now please, just hold on a second. And I will use...
Yeah,
this.
what is with the
There we
swimming?
go.
Like, the swimming,
This is
the
my
swimming,
swimming
the swimming in this game is freaking pay to win. Like, you cannot even swim normally without an outfit. And the outfit costs money. Pay to win swimming. Like, arguably at the time it was better than a New World swimming, where you would walk on the bottom and then drown. Nowadays you can kind of swim in New World, but it is still bad. I don't know what they are smoking, creating a game about exploration without swimming. The swimming in Black Desert Online is actually bearable. Like, usually people do not like swimming in MMOs, mostly underwater combat. If it is not Guild Wars 2, it's usually atrocious. World of Warcraft players would know. But hey, at least we can swim. But in BTO, like, the swimming feels good with the costume, but without it, it is so slow and sluggish that it really feels like you need the freaking costume. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to swim properly. It's just pissing me off. It's one of those things that really feel bad. Even for a reason like, okay, I don't mind those costumes. They are usually not that expensive. You know, you can afford one for your main. It's whatever, you know. But it's the fact that you have to wear them. For example, on my Guardian, I really love the outfit that I just had been forced to strip out of to put on my swimming suit so I could swim. So I cannot look the way I want to look, which is kind of what is making me a little bit angry. So the swimming will go a little bit better. I bought it for her. It's kind of yeah. Let's just say that the Guardian females are very well built, not really Well built. Yeah.
best candidates for this sort of swimming summer dress, but yeah, can be done.
Yeah, she kind of, from certain angles,
like,
she kind of looks like a male.
looks like a circle of men.
Because she's just so muscular. Rarely I wasn't talking about, you know, the typical thing that the guys talk about when they see the women in a bikini. But really, when I said about build, I didn't mean that she has a huge ass and huge tits. I was more referring to the fact that she really is muscular. And sometimes from behind in swimming suit, she kind of looks like a man. But not all the time.
And here's right in the middle of the lake.
I know that there are basically two groups of players in the video. Those who can't stand female guardians, and then those who just absolutely love them. There is no middle ground, by the way.
So I don't know if there is some sort of magical energy that the otters need to further develop, or if it's just their sacred place where they teach their young to swim. I don't know, but once again, if you look at them, there is a lot of young otters actually trying to float on the water, and yeah, they're literally babies. They're kind of cute, even though it's basically a small model of normal otters. Now, if you play a class called Corsair, you are very familiar with the otters because they are your crew and your summons in your awakening. So
Yeah, but don't play Corsair.
that's the thing that exists, I guess. Always check around the waterfalls and all if you can find a cave or something. A lot of times, in my experience, which is not this time obviously, but sometimes you can find like a little caves, like a really small caves, which like a gold or a diamond vein inside.
that you can collect or some sort of rare herb. So even if it's like nothing you can explore per se, you at least have a good feeling that you find a little cave with an opening and with thing you can use. And there is one of the dangerous inhabitants of the forest. Let me swap back to my explorer's outfit. And yeah, let's go deal with him. Now, some of these Cyclops, I believe, some of them are friendly. You can actually meet Cyclops in the cryo casually chatting with the others, sitting with them by their fire. But every single Cyclops you encounter in the wilderness, just like that one over there, they're aggressive. If you get too close, there we go, bonkers on you. They are tough. Even with my gear, which is not half bad, they take me a couple of hits to kill. So, careful. If you are lower level, prepare, it's going to be fight, he's going to stun lock you, etc. He's not probably going to kill you. It's not that dangerous, but he can give you, especially if you have weak weapon, he will give you some time to deal with.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, especially for the levels. I think nowadays people don't really go to trend that much when leveling. If they are new, then maybe, but most of the players, whenever they are doing season or new characters, they just go through that streamlined kind of streamlined quest line. Right? And they usually end up in the desert killing nagas or in the polyforest killing mushrooms or let their friends just boost them up. So this location is not really get visited that often. And certainly not for grinding mobs, so yeah.
Ah, there we go, Sintra. Let's carry on. So cryo was it?
Yeah, let's speed the video up.
Longleaf tree forest. This is a settlement, right? You don't know this is a settlement because just like every other person, you just look on the road. You don't do this. If you do this, and by this I mean look up, you can see that the settlement is actually situated on the trees. And this is a quest location, so a lot of people know that this exists, but if you are just passing by, you might as well miss it without even realizing it, that there is a whole, not city, but let's say village or settlement above your head. So that's
yeah, I think this is so cool. Like having these
of this
trees and houses
are shy and elves. Some humans, of course, too, but mostly elves and shy.
And by elves, I mean mostly female elves. Because the archers...
due to the lore reasons...
Oh, I'm talking about this actually. Okay.
Of elves in the game are actually...
You know, it's actually funny. Because I just realized that my mind flow didn't really change that much from 4 years ago. Like I just said something that I was about to say in the video as well. Just because it's literally same brain working in the same way.
Female elves. And you can see it like the ranger class. So players who are playing rangers are like female elves. Dark Knight as well. Who the most male population of elves are player base who play archers. So as far as I know, there are only 2 elves who are males and are NPCs. And that is the old Lutragon and one of the archer scout that arrived with the arrival of the male archer player class. So
I think you can actually meet him before during the quest line, and he was in the game before the archers were introduced, and he was foreshadowing, and you could talk with him, and he was all about like the lore, and he is the archer, etc., etc. And it was just foreshadowing, and shortly after they added the archer as a playable character. But it is true to this day that the biggest popular, like if you're talking about the female elves, like they are everywhere. You know, Odilita is full of them, Kama Sylvia full of them. They are even in trend, even in cities, etc. You can meet them in the desert even. Basically, they are everywhere. But the males, no, just those 2. So far as I know, this is
This can change, of course. They can do whatever the hell they want with their games. Maybe we will eventually, I don't think we will, but maybe eventually we will find like the great return of Lutragons or whatever. But yeah, the majority of populations of male elves are players. It's probably the only race that has it that way. Because most characters are human, but humans are everywhere. We also have a half giant, but half giants are also everywhere. Shy as well. Shy they have even their own village, like the Floran and all of those. But male elves, no, just player characters. And I think it's kind of cool lore, because there is a lot of reason why they got separated. Basically, they got sent away. I think I don't remember it completely, but I think there was like some sort of separation of like the elven realm and human realm, and like the females just migrated and then elves just stood behind, or maybe the males got abolished into the demon realm, something like this. Maybe actually with the introduction of this demon tower that they are talking about, they are preparing to introduce, maybe we will find more male elves in there. But yeah, as I said, you shouldn't really expect too much of the game lore, because developers, they don't really focus on lore, obviously, either. Because guns. Anyway. I mean, if you are playing a male archer, which is a male elf, I guess, well, yeah. All the females for you, I guess. Okay, hold up. Did they introduce new class? Since I've stopped playing, I don't think they did, but okay, the last one is Deadeye. Okay, I don't think they are cooking new class just yet. Anyway, let's get back to the video. No, we have another ruined settlement, and now we can see the. Okay, let me just swap category to BDO just for a second. Okay, so yeah, like this. Just for now, you know. The Cyclops standing in the ruins. He even made his nest here. This is his nest. He is stashing his supplies and all in this thing. I will let him be. He doesn't seem to be aggressive towards me. So yeah, I mean, good for him. I would kill him probably. Probably. Yeah. The thing about this game, which I love, is if you find ruins, it's basically the exact copy of the. Well, not exact copy, but it's the same architecture of the nearby settlements that are fine. So it creates really an immersion that something happened here and it belongs here, except it's destroyed. So that's a bummer. So let me double check on map. Yeah, we are in the Cryoville. So things like this you can find in many MMOs, like in World of Warcraft, for example. Just go to Duskwood. If there is a ruined house, it will be the same architecture as the villages around. What was that village called? Darkshire? Yeah, Darkshire. But not every game goes that hard on details.
There is a lot of water around here. Obviously, the cryo the otter people, they need water for the fish supply and all that stuff. Right here. This is their village. There are little houses inside of tree stumps and all of that stuff. They are scared about the darkness approaching. I think the darkness they're talking about, we can actually find some baby gargoyles around here, around this area. And these are not pleasant creatures. I remember that every time I go around here actually, which is the place I used to hunt elks when I'm hunting for meat, I can encounter a lot of baby gargoyles around there, and yeah, it kind of sucks. Because, yeah, they are aggressive, they are not pleasant to deal with. Anyway.
I'm going to speed up the video a little bit. I hope you don't mind.
I want to show you. The first thing is this...
So I wonder, I often watch videos like sped up, you know, to just save time and basically watch more videos if I want to watch something. Depending on how like slowly or slow paced the video is, then when you speed up and you can still check it. I don't know if other people can do it, or like if you even can understand if I speed things up. Just let me know what your view is on like speeding up videos.
Cyclops that is basically sitting around with the otters and just casually talking with them, which is a nice touch because yeah, they're all friends and etc. I cannot seem to find him though. Did they have an argument, or did he left? Or I know it's more like
he's in different place, dude.
Look for him properly. But this is how the otters.
You know, it's weird that I'm calling myself dude. He is in different place, me. It's just message from me to me.
Nice little tree cave thing. Yeah. So they seem to be living in like more like cave-like areas and just make a improvised roof or whatever. But they were able to create these stairs to get into their little cover hole.
They have such a nice, joyful music playing in the background. I love it.
So this is the thing, right? But seriously, where is that camp they were talking with the... I cannot find him. I'm sorry. Maybe it's somewhere else. Maybe I just remember it not so well. But the other thing, and for that we are going to need the lighting fairy, so we are not in the darkness all the time. But yeah. What others do in here is they are carrying the fishes for...
I do too, mostly for educational videos, but sometimes entertaining ones as well. Yeah, I feel like whenever I just hear somebody talking too slow, you know, or it is dragging, but I'm still interested in the video's topic, I will just speed it up, you know, to just absorb information quicker, because especially as I'm growing older, I'm realizing that our time here is limited. And like, if I will watch every 2 hours long video for the full time of 2 hours, then I'm basically limiting myself. I'm stripping myself for the privilege to watch twice as much of the videos, right? Which also translates into do not watch content that is boring or brainlord, that doesn't give you anything. Because simply the most precious thing you have in this world is your time. And you should always think carefully about who or what you are investing this time into. Because later in the life, you might regret it. Especially whenever the time is wasted, it is the biggest regret of them all. But also do not fall into the trap to waste more time to justify time that has already been wasted. Because that is another thing. But now we are translating into psychology, and let's not do that, okay? I'm just an IT consultant, I'm not a psychologist.
What they...
Even though, especially when you're working with support teams, sometimes you feel like one, though. That is true.
Think is their deity. And if you look into it, you realize that their gods that they are worshipping, or their little forest gods, are actually forest nymphs. And they really are living in this cave. Now, this obviously is just still just the altar built a little bit of.
So we can like go into this cave
like
inside, and
a little
explore
bit of wall created by
everything
this.
under this mountain.
But
The best
this
part
little,
is that
you can hear the
the
sound
gods,
changing already. This little cave has this little opening here, and it's a nice little secret because if you go in,
yeah, they have like these root nymphs. You can grind them, they giving like some very worthless pieces of trash root. But you can find actually one that you can talk to, and she tells you something along the lines like, please can you tell those others to stop bringing all the fish to the cave. So the others think that these are their gods, and bringing them fish is ottering, and those nymphs are like bothered by those fish and they just want them away because it stinks. You know, it's just dead fish in a cave. What would you expect?
you realize that
It's
cave
just
is
funny.
full of root nymphs. Okay, and they are creatures that are making like the one of the most weird noises.
I
I've
just
ever
listen to
heard in a
that.
video
It's so
game.
cute.
Like it's Murloc level. Right?
Yeah, it's Murloc level.
Yeah. So the cave itself is full of forest nymphs, and if you dig deep into it, you find out that the chieftain of these forest nymphs. Yeah, if you are a dick, you can destroy their little hidey holes and whatnot, and you can farm them or so, and they drop some trash loot that's not worth very much. In my experience, they are not really aggressive, but what you can find in this cave is that chieftain, and if you dig deep into it, you realize that the otters actually worship these nymphs by giving them fishes. And the nymphs don't like otters, and they hate the smell of fishes. So not only they are not really gods, they are just beings living in this cave, but the others actually aggravate
Nature
them
spirits,
because
I
they
would say.
keep bringing fish to the entrance of the cave, and the nymphs themselves, they just hate it.
I think this is the most
So that's
funny.
a nice twist,
Like,
and that's basically
I love it. This is like this has been done. This location and this little joke has been done in the game back when like developers were passionate about creating this game. I feel like all life has been sucked out of these developers of Black Desert Online by their corporate overlords who just demand more content that will just drive more and more players' money into the corporation. And basically all of these funny stuff, it's not really there anymore. But in the old, and especially in the old world of Black Desert, you can find a lot of things like this. It's so funny.
a lot of plots and plot twists in Black Desert Online are like this. Like somebody does something without actually having a knowledge to do so, and the other one, who is supposed to be the object of the worship, turns out he hates it. Okay, this cave is, if you do not count the nymphs, rather empty. You can find some mineable stone now and there.
Oh my god, the quality of this video. I think I didn't have the streaming properly set up back then. So whenever you would be somewhere where like lighting is very demanding and there's like a lot of things going on, it would everything just end up pixelated in like lowest quality.
You can find some.
Yeah, this would be my advice for everybody who is trying to stream, is just to be correctly set up. Nowadays, even ChatGPT will tell you correct setup based on your specifications and based on what you are going to stream and on which platform you are going to stream. Because the YouTube, ironically enough, allows you to stream in much higher quality than Twitch. But if you try to dual stream like me right now, you have to limit your output for YouTube, because Twitch would simply just stop working if you would fueling it more. What's it called again? Hold on a second. What's it called? Bitrate, yeah. So if you would feed it more than 6,000 bitrate, then Twitch just stops working. Your stream will just constantly be in a loop of turning itself off and on.
Like in here, silver. We could take some silver.
But even those 6,000 is a very good quality. Especially, you need to have good rig, obviously, and you need to have good internet connection. Those are only two requirements that you need for streaming quality games on very quality settings for everybody to see. it evolved a lot. Like, I don't know how the casual streaming is a thing, how long. It would be around 10 years approximately, I would say. 10 years, well, it is maybe even less than 10 years, I wouldn't know. When it is like mainstream. But it evolved. You wouldn't be able to streaming in a quality that we do nowadays. I'm not going to do it right now, but if you want, you can just dig up some silver right here. There are some mushrooms that you can find, and for some reason there are ruins of the houses. Now, obviously, yeah, what are the houses doing there? It's underground. They didn't build it. The nymphs didn't build these houses. Who so the humans must have made it, but who built a house underground? That's what I don't quite understand. Why? Yeah. Because it's in a cave, so why would you build a house in a cave? And I also don't understand why the houses are in this desolate status. Like, did nymphs drive away the humans who built this? Did nymphs like destroy these houses? All that stuff. These are the questions that I have. Anyway, let's explore this cave a little bit more. There is a bridge. Because exploring caves is one of the best things. If you find a cave in Black Desert Online, which is like this complex, and there is actually something in the cave, then yeah, you are in for a treat. And there is the king of the otters, aka... There is actually a lot of caves like this in Black Desert Online. Some of those are more like mainstream, you know, like Pilaku Jail. But some of them are less. You know, we have this cave, you have the cave with the cultists that we will explore later in this video. We do have Proti Cave, we do have Pilaku Jail, as I mentioned. We have some caves in Gamma Sylvia, in Odilita. I always loved cave system in BDO. It felt... I don't know how to put it. Like you really, not spelunking, but like you are exploring something. You know, Kuruto Cave, it's great. The Helms and their mines is another great cave to explore. The nymph. Yeah, he says he's king of the... Then again, I would say like the best caves in gaming right now is World of Warcraft, because War Within is basically 3 huge caves in a trench coat. This is whole content. But other than that, the caves in Black Desert Online are great. And I don't think most MMOs go even close to these. Like you have some caves in New World, for example, but they are nowhere as intriguing. Others. But there is a quest where like the otters wants fishes for their worship and that sort of stuff, and then you realize that these nymphs they actually hate the smell of fish, and that's basically it. I think it's funny. I will explore. It's funny to this day. And I generally don't remember what's in there. My best guess is this will be like the Papu and Otter. One of the holes in the... There are like 2 mascots of BDO. Like 2 races of like those little animal people. And one is more dumber than the other. Just to stop distracting you by chat, I will available my kittens right here. But yeah, okay, maybe I was mistaken. Maybe we cannot actually progress further. What I find out during my travels in Black Desert Online is sometimes you actually can use the crouching and proning and like crawling to your advantage if you want to squeeze to some tight holes in caves. This is one of the things that actually differentiate Black Desert Online from a lot of other MMOs, is the fact that you can literally crouch, crawl, or even prowl on your belly with your character. And yeah, it has some PvP reasons why it should render you not visible for the enemy players. But you can also use it to go through close passages that you wouldn't be able to go through on like standing up. You can crawl through. And I think that's great. It doesn't serve any particular purpose. And I think they should even use this feature for some of the quests and just tell you to crawl through some spaces to spy on somebody, because they have it in there and they're just not using it. Like, why? This is the great feature. Very often it's like you go through and you find a space that is really like surprisingly open, but also there is nothing there. And there are a couple of caves like this that I found.
and it is usually, there's nothing there, but there could be. One example, Narc Cave. Right? If you visited a Narc Cave, which you should because there is a quest for it, there is a...
There is like so much empty spaces under the whole continent. Oh my god. A lot of them you just get in and you cannot even get out. You have to unstuck, you know, or escape or whatever the feature is called, because there's just so much clutter and they created so many caves. Probably, I don't know if they thought they're going to use them later, you know, use for content or maybe for some instant content, quote unquote, because instancing in this game is another can of worms. Like whenever there is quote unquote instance content, it is just in the world and they will teleport you somewhere under the sea or whatever, and where you do your little dungeon and then you will get teleported back. Like Attraction, for example, I think the Attraction is somewhere inside the mountains, you know, situated, whatever, or somewhere off the map. It is still physically in the world. Like most games, like World of Warcraft, for example, they do it in a way that just instance is instance, and it doesn't physically exist in a game itself. Just it's instance content. That's what it is. In Black Desert Online, I don't think they are able to do this. They just need to create physical location somewhere and just put players there. Like their engine, because they created their own engine, which is like a respect. It looks great. But if you would look under the hood, you would see that the engine is just something. It's held together by spaghetti and hope, right? You know, it is spaghetti code at its finest. It is somehow works. It is somehow working. It somehow works. But I like... there's a million of things that is wrong with it. But the tax for those millions of things are tax for what we can do in this game, which is we can look phenomenal, we can have very hot ladies, and we can have amazing combat. If you don't think too deep about it. In our boss fights, in Black Desert Online is like, it's like a chore. You know, it's just like fighting against bullet sponge and trying to dodge skills that trying to be telegraphed, but always is telegraphed wrong. And there is the synchronization all over the place. But if you are just doing for what this game is made to be, which means fighting hordes of enemies on grind spots, then it's when you are just in the game. Then when it's feel good.
Little crawly hole on the top left side of the cave. If you look at the griffin that is inside and you look left, there is a little hidey hole that you can crawl through into a surprisingly open space.
Wait, I'm talking about that little space in the griffin cave, and in the like. It has been already over 4 years that I know about that. I thought that I discovered it recently. Like seriously, if you are an MMO player, the time has literally no meaning. It just flies. God damn it, I'm old.
But there is nothing in that space. It's like, I don't know, I always feel like excited that I find something, and then immediately after, disappointed that I cannot use that something because there is nothing there. There is no reward, there is no like creature that I could kill, there is like nothing in there, so you ask yourself, why the hell is it there? But it is, and yeah, confusion. But it's still nice to like find these kind of things. Was it here? Yeah, it was here. Okay. Well, this is actually I won't even have to crawl through. I think I can just run. Okay. And this is the quite opposite. You don't even have to crawl through, but this is what I was talking about around like 10 minutes previously. You see, there is a silver and there is a ruby. So if you want silver or rubies, you can mine them right here. We can crawl through here, I think, yep. We are through.
Yeah, Black Desert Online, if you want it to be, it can be your spelunking simulator. Like, you cannot do this in any other MMOs, I guarantee you. Like, spelunking, if we would base MMOs solely on its spelunking capacity, then the Black Desert Online is top. It's... how do you put it? It's unintentional. They didn't want to do spelunking simulator, but the players can do that if they want to. I think most of these caves are like mistakes, where they were bundling together assets to create these caves and mountains, and then just the holes are inside because nobody properly tested it. But like now it's a feature. Like the whole continent of Black Desert Online is like undermined by mole tunnels, essentially. You know, you take one rock away and the whole continent will just sink down, you know, and will be 50 meters under.
Somewhere. Yep, very open space, but I think there will be nothing.
Yeah, this is basically the back rooms. Back rooms in BDO looks like this.
It's kind of creepy, to be honest.
It is, but it's also awesome.
What's up here? Can we? I wonder. Can we get up here?
I don't think you can. Maybe
No,
you
we
could.
cannot.
You could on Striker.
Seems
You could
it
maybe
doesn't
get up
continue
on
anywhere,
Striker
but
or
it
on
is-
LAN.
Oh, there is something upstairs. I think this might be actual texture of behind from the.
Okay, big brain move. You should have put in the cinematic mode, the Control U or whatever it is on your keyboard, and try to swing up the camera up to see what is there. I didn't do it at the time. It didn't occur to me. See, that's 4 years of evolution. I figured out one thing that I could do extra.
From one of the actual mountains that we see in the overworld. So I don't know if there is something in there. I don't think I can get up there. Maybe if I was playing like LAN or maybe Corsair, maybe Striker, I would be able to kind of jump up. But with the standard character, I don't think there is any way I can. But yeah. So that's what I was talking about. You see this very big space in this cave. That's exactly my point. All right, let's go back. Just yeah.
Cool is
To this
this?
day, I just love the fact that you can crawl and crouch,
Yeah.
and it actually has impact on the height of your character. So there are like places. It's very similar to like crouch jump in Half-Life, where you can literally get over obstacles by crouch jumping because your legs are in the way. But if you crouch jump, then your legs will pull
Maybe
up
there are
and you
places
can
where
get
only Shy can get
to the
into.
higher platforms.
I
That
know.
was like one of the innovative jumping puzzles in Half-Life back in 1999. So yeah, I love when the games
Crouch
are touching
jumping.
things like this.
I remember that. I
I'm a
played
little bit sick of my coffee.
ton
It's
of
delicious.
Half-Life back in my day.
Cool down of my food, so I'm going to. Another one tip. This drink I'm constantly, well, not constantly, but every 30 minutes, I'm eating this Spirit Essence of Earth. It's basically a food item, even though it doesn't share cooldown with food.
Everybody
This
knows
was
that, dude. Just go. Go, 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 go.
XP, which
Come on.
experience.
There we go.
Anyway, where are we going now? Okay, we went to this house, right? And I guess it was through here. So this is the way we came from, right? So this was the correct path, right? The path were branching in here. So I will try to take this bridge and this path over here. We'll see what we can get. I always found this nymph cave really interesting, mainly because it was something completely new. It was like the otters were worshipping something in this little cave, and then it turned out that the cave is not really little, not really at all. It's just spread under. If we look at the map, it is spread under these mountains all the way. Right? It almost like go where some of the Camasylvia zones are.
Let's just skip forward
It's under the
when I'm out of the cave.
like you usually find much in the which gives deer meat or deer blood, whatever. But yeah, if you want boars, I recommend this location. Occasionally there is a bear or a cyclops in your way, but they can be avoided quite easily.
Okay, honestly, gotta say, back in my day, before the Camasylvia release, I used to be a lot in these woods to just burn out energy by basically getting pork from these boars and sell it. Like, I got enough silver, or at least I thought I'm getting enough silver. Like nowadays, I personally can earn something about $500 million per hour while grinding in Histria. This money, that would be huge. back in the day. Like I had 100 million silver, and I was like, oh my god, I'm rich. Yeah, I was naive, but it was also like I don't know, 6-7 years ago, maybe more. I don't know when Kama Sylvia got released. Okay, you know what? 2016. So I've been playing this game since 2016. I don't know when the game has been released, but I know I started the game. My first character ever was a Dark Knight, actually. So this is actually good kind of measurement for me when I started the game. So it was either late 2016 or early 2017 when I started to play this game. So I could consider myself a veteran player. Except if you say veteran player, you consider somebody who's actually great in the game. And I'm more like, I just grind by my own pace and riding on my tier 9 horse when everybody has D10, and my biggest achievement is probably just decorating my house. I don't play PvP, and I cannot get into the high tier PvE zones because I would get one shot because I'm not Gearbus. But I still love the game. And I think it is important that the game is staying relevant to people like me. Because you can have only that much of a top tier gamers. But you still need somebody else who's just, gathering stuff that nobody else does. Selling stuff cheap, etc. And basically just doing their thing. I think it is important that we play games to relax. Not necessarily to compete all the time. And while some people are using competition as a form of relaxation, it is not for everybody. And with that said, I never really had ambitions to compete in MMOs for anything because I vented my competition or competing ambitions in League of Legends. Why that was a bad idea, I could make a whole essay on this, and maybe I will talk about this a little bit after the video. But for now, let's just continue. The bears actually have these little hidey holes in there, and if you just poke the hidey hole, there like 2 to 3 bears will come out, and they can come out like 2 or 3 times until you completely destroy the. Did I just pronounce boar as a bear? they are not the same thing, me. Their nest, so that's one thing to remember. Now, if you would be after the deer, then if you would follow me, there is an outpost, not really far from here. You can actually see it. There it is. You see the tower. I don't remember the outpost name, but if you go to the outpost, actually, Longleaf Tree Forest. Okay, I still don't know what the outpost is called. There are some soldiers, some of them that you can do some little alchemy quest if you so wish for. Let's check the map. Longleaf Tree Forest. That's it. Okay. Okay. Can somebody explain to me? We are actually near a bear, and there's one thing. Look at this game. Like, yeah, if you look at the rendering at the render distance, it has low render distance. Everything in like, if you look too far, it looks like bad. It looks like a school grader would paint it with the crayons. But if you look up close, this game actually looks phenomenal. NPCs are usually ugly, but player characters and environments are top tier cinema. How is it still one of the best looking MMOs out there? How? Like, okay, New World has the looks, especially in locations like Everfall. Main characters, not that much. But other than that, most MMOs are either cartoonish, like a World of Warcraft-esque, or straight up ugly, or uglier. Like, what are we doing? Just give us pretty graphics and decent combat, and your MMO will freaking skyrocket. And yet they still just pushing these silly games that look like garbage or play like garbage, top targeting combat. Why? Why, no wonder BDO is still one of the top sandbox MMOs. Because not necessarily because it is the best game ever, but simply because there is no other game better. And I'm telling you right now, people would leave for better MMO. But there is no better MMO at this point. Certainly not in the sandbox sphere. Because most MMOs are going for specific stylization. Yeah, that is a good thing in World of Warcraft, for example, because they don't need to constantly improving the engine and graphics. But on the other hand, if you look at BTO, it still looks great. It's 10-year-old game. 10 years. And then they release what? Throne and Liberty? Lost Ark? They look worse than BTO does. Not like Kavin, but we are up the hill. The outpost is up the hill, and now down here you can see this way would be actually some baby gargoyles, and this way would be a lot. This forest. It's phenomenal. Whenever I look at the forest like this in a video game, I just want to go in and explore. You know, make a little campfire, look around, breathe in the atmosphere. This forest is 10 years old. This is a huge amount of time for a video game. Huge. Lot of elks that you can hunt for meat and blood if you so. And this way would be better. I don't think we can see bear just yet. It's hidden behind the trees. But yeah, as I said, I will leave the bear for another video, because we will actually use bear as it is connected with a couple of quests to the Hex Sanctuary and the Witch Chapel and Hex Maria and Undeads and all of that stuff. Even though it's a village of hunters, so it's not really irrelevant for them to be in the Gent Forest or tied to the Gent Forest as well. But no, let's explore bear at a time. Here you can see the overlapping of bears and the elks. So yeah, you can use this knowledge. This is a perfect hunting area, and by hunting I don't actually mean hunting animals with rifle, but more like kill them with your mind weapon and then skin them and use your for that. I did hunt a lot of elks in here. We will cover them some other time, maybe. Okay, that said, we are right here on the very border of what I call Trent Forest, where it overlaps to Hex Sanctuary. I will leave Bear Riverhead and the cabin, that Foniel's cabin, for another time as well, and we will actually cover these two. I think when I will be covering Catfishman Lake and the surrounding areas, and then I will make another video about Calphone and surrounding farms. I've never made any of these videos, just to be clear. No, I just had big plans. We'll follow the river and the road back to the Trent, and we will go north, because there are more interesting areas right there. And now, as we are riding, not really around the path itself, but more around the feet of the mountain. Yeah, we're going into another cave, I think. Okay, this mountain right here is not as safe as it might look like. For I know, and soon you will too, that in the depths of this very hill that I'm driving over right now, in the depths there is a cult living in the caves. The cult are actually Dark Knights, and it used to be one of the top locations in the base game, the one that you would just go and farm there. This is Shadow Knights. The Dark Knights are the elven, were not geared enough, but playable characters. Lately, it's become a very relevant and dangerous idea. Again, because the mobs that are dwelling in the very core of this cave are actually on par with Hadum warriors, with Hadum orcs, I think, because 290 AP. So keep that in mind. I know that there are at least 3 entrances to these to this cavern system that I found out. One is right here in the abandoned monastery. There is a well that you can use to crawl in and get into this cave complex. But there are 2 more openings that lead straight to the forest. I don't know exactly where around this mountain, but they are there, so keep that in mind. Now, the same kind of gold branch can be found in the caves and in the things around this part. And by this part I don't really mean this part, because this is basically Ash Forest and Kama Sylvia and Stars and that, so, but somewhere around the foot of this mountain there is a little shrine to Xarka, actually. It's the old and a little bit of forgotten shrine of Xarka. And I think if I can find it, which I'm not sure, I will have to Google exact location, that wouldn't be very explorative for me, would it? But if we can find it, I will show it to you. For now, and I know we didn't see a single trend yet, but we will keep to this little mountain, and we will try to find an opening. Because I want to visit the cave. And speaking of the devil. Trends. Pick him up, come on. Ah, jump. Good. Okay, this trend, he actually isn't aggressive, but we have a troll actually holding this angry trend down, and the other lumberjacks are trying to get rid of it. About the races in the Black Desert Online, there is like an interesting thing where a lot of races that you find as enemies, as grind monsters on one spot, are actually friendly on the other ones. The prime examples would be trolls. This troll over here is obviously working with the lumberjacks, and there are more of those. Like, I'm sure that a lot of people know what does this called, like Belarn, Beluscan, something like that. The warehouse keeper in Calthon is basically troll who shave his beard and has fancy clothing. Same with the warehouse keeper of Trent itself. It's also a troll. So here you can see the trolls helping people as civilized beasts. Another example, the giants. We've actually played a giant. It is a very sacred class as a giant, and we know a lot of giants. They can be workers, they can be like warehouse keepers as well, they can be traders, whatever. And yeah, if you look at the map, right over here, there's a whole area with giants that are all aggressive, all are like grind mobs that are level 42 to 45 enemies. Yeah, basically. So the game basically integrates its, or not all of them, but some of the mobs into the not overworld, but into the society of NPCs, which I find fascinating. Like, if you think about it, it's not really like you wouldn't find like friendly and unfriendly orcs, for example, in World of Warcraft, but in case of trolls in this game, it's kind of a, yeah. So this is one of the entrances, just as I was talking about, the Calpheon Elite Shadow Knights. So yeah, Shadow Knights are not exactly pleasant people to be around, even though, yeah, and bats the same thing. Bats are not pleasant to be around either. Even though you can, if you were doing Mind Conquest, you meet a lot of Shadow Knights. And actually they are tied to Ramasylvia, they are tied to Stars, and they are tied to Odolita, and you will be meeting a lot of them. But yeah, do not trust them, they are not your friends. They basically occupy all of this cave complex. So this is literally just like full of them. They are everywhere. And yeah, you can see that they are up to no good, because what we see here is like a cave that is decorated with various like contraptions for torture devices, for cages, and that's basically it. Sometimes they have like an altar with candles and skulls and whatever, and you can see they are up to no good just by the altar alone. I mean, that's straight up some sort of, how will you put it, satanist rituals, but yeah.
This cave, it really looks like a cave. You know, you have stalagmites, stalagmites, all of these sedimentary structures within the cave. And it is also dark. If you don't have your fairy, it is dark. Also, can somebody explain to me why did Peril Abyss or implemented this fairy light instead of, we used to had lanterns. So the way it worked would be you would buy oil, and if you wanted light, you would use your lantern and fill it with oil. It was very immersive mechanic. I loved it, and now we just carry fairies in your pocket, you know, and every time you need light, just pop one. And I don't know if we like squeeze the fairy in our hand, you know, or if it is like some sort of weird honey that we feed our own fairy that is like flying around, because you can have, apart from pets, you also have a fairy that is feeding you potions. So I don't know, but I preferred the lantern. It felt so immersive.
There is a lore behind it. I'm not sure if I understand it correctly just yet, because I've run through this quest only like one time, through all of them, through some of them multiple times, but it's never easy to understand, especially if you just play this game. You don't really pay much attention, most likely just skipping through content, and do not read it. And there is one of these altars, but what I understand right now is that the Shadow Knights actually have their own god, and this kind of god, I know if it is like Hadum or if it's somebody else, but the Xarka worshippers, they basically summoned Xarka, so they are protected against the god of these Shadow Knights, so it's entirely different entity altogether. So if we can check here, we can see some ritualistic objects. There is a goat head. There is a,
yeah, but it is really weird
in the shape of goat head. Some other, like, not entrails, but
because you also find these dark knights in the Xarka summoning shrine.
And if these Dark Knights, or sorry, if these Shadow Knights are really just after Hadun, you know, or I think it's Belmont, that Lord of Shadow Knights, or their god, you know, the same one that is actually possessing Jordine, then how are they? Belmorn, I think. Not Belmone, Belmorn. Oh, you've written Belmont. Yeah, that one. But yeah, the lore really doesn't make sense. And at this point, I don't know if this is like intentional, or if it's just absolute negligence of the developers and they're just putting Shadow Knights there because they look cool and they have cool models. So like, why the hell not? A lot of candles, some tiny little chests. We have a banner, which is quite interesting actually. If you look at the banner, it looks like snakes, right? 2 snakes actually. And you can find these motifs of the 2 snakes all over the world of Black Desert, especially in Serendia, Balenos, and Calphalon territories. Yeah, also now thinking about it, these snakes are actually wrapping themselves around the tree, so that would probably be Camasylvia tree, right? And we know that once we restored the light of Camasylvia tree, that we basically opened the portal to Elvia realms, so that Hadum can actually go through. So that's why we have Elvia realms, because we did finish Camasylvia questline. So we actually made things worse. And the stupid elves, they actually don't have even idea what we are doing. But you can find those in, or what they were doing while they asked us to restore the light of that Camasylvia tree. It's yeah, we are not the good guys. We are not bad guys either. We are just we just want more power, because our imaginary space disease called Black Spirit told us to. Odolita, and in Camasylvia, I think as well. Maybe not in Camasylvia, maybe I'm just misinterpreting things. You don't find much of those in Gigan, but definitely there's a lot of these structures in Star's End and in and in Odolita, right? In Serendia and Balenos. I don't know what that is, but that looks creepy. So we are basically looking at mummified monks covered in chains in their ritualistic robes, and some of them have goats for a head. And this, actually, if you look at this, it resembles some creatures that live in the ruins of... what was it? It's in Gaia. Oh, Elric Shrine. In Elric Shrine, you see some people having these ritualistic masks of the goat on them. And some of them are straight up mutated that it is not even a mask anymore. So the game might be telling us that it all is tied together, or maybe it's not. We don't really know. But yeah, the game certainly has some sort of a dark... You know, thinking about it, you know what I would like? I would like a game where these implications, these lore-wise theory crafting would actually have some meaning. The game that would have actually story that would make sense, and all of these little hints in the game would lead to towards the same conclusion. Because frankly speaking, I don't know if these things in Black Desert Online are there because they really signify some sort of lore, or if they are there only for the basically cool effect. Because it looks cool, you know, it looks spooky, it looks creepy, it gives you a message like, look, there are these dead monks chained up to the wall, Shadow Knight's bed, you know, kill them, this is creepy location. And it's like, okay, I would love it if it would actually be tied to the story. But especially in these Korean grinding games, it is usually not the case, sadly. And I was maybe just overthinking stuff. Satanist-like rituals, you know. Even of course there is no like Satan, there is all of that like Xarka and Blood God and Hadum and all of that stuff, and Black Spirit and Black Crystals and all of those. But yeah, it really reminds like medieval witchcraft shenanigans. So that's about it. Now, if you are going to run through these caves long enough, you will end up at the at my horse, because this is the way that I came in, which wasn't my intention really. I wanted to explore and actually find the core of this cave. No, it a little bit first.
Let's skip it a little bit further. Maybe
God.
I did found something.
And that way, he would get power to overcome Calpheon armies and actually take revenge against.
You know, I'm talking about the about Belmorn possessing Jordine.
It.
And Jordine being
So,
fine with it as long as he could kill Calphelonians because he hated them, quite rightfully so, because there in this story there was a war between Calpheon and Heidel, and there was a grand betrayal and all of those things. Okay, now I'm rambling over the map. Let's go a little bit further. Show me something interesting there, me.
Unrest again. So yeah, he caused a lot of shit. He caused a lot of like havoc. But
Still rambling.
I'm just going to run through a little bit quicker through these caves because we don't have all.
I think they really should rework the story. The way they had done the Balenost questline wasn't bad, but they have no excuse for the whole story revamp to take as long as it does. Like, this should be already in the game. The whole freaking story, all the way up to Kama Sylvia. Right? Because it just doesn't make sense. And the fact that you can go and do the Balenost region, and then it stops. Like, what are we doing? Why? There is no excuse for them to take so much time. It is not that high of a production value. Like, this showcase almost incompetence. They should be much quicker about pumping this sort of content. And it's not only that we don't have that content and we don't have all of this lore in the game, and we don't have all of this to make sense, but it is also the way that if they release only part of it, it is, I would argue, more harmful to the game than if they didn't release anything at all. Because now what? We have Balenos, but we still don't have. It's like we are gonna give you first episode, and for the next episode of the story, you would have to. Oh, it's what you're saying. Calpheon is done, and Serendia. It is. Oh, you're right. Calpheon is where it ends, right? Yeah, but they should do this all the way up to Mountain of Eternal Winter, I think. Because yeah, you're correct. I think we in Calpheon, it all wraps up where the angry black spirit basically fights with the Jordine, or his like creation, or his like Belmorn avatar or something like that. And yeah, it is sort of wrapped up, but it is still not enough. There is still a huge link missing between Jordine or Belmorn we meet in Eternal Winter and between what happened after the end of Calpheon questline. They really need to wrap things up. They really need to do everything all the way up to Valencia, including Valencia. And really tighten up the story, because it is still all over the place. Still, everybody is more like confused than not about what is actually going on. And if they want to introduce Demon Castle, which is a thing that is heavily leaning towards these themes of this different dimension, where like Belmorn went for Hadum, etc. It needs to be wrapped up. And they really need to stop just releasing it bit by bit. It's not that hard to wrap up. It is not like they need some extra new content. But it just shows kind of incompetence. I don't know.
All day. Okay. This leads out. Okay, so one exit is right here, one exit is right there. I always get lost in these caves. I never find what I'm looking for. Basically, I just go in here to try to kill as much as the Shadow Knights that I can, because some of the quests are tied into them. But yeah, that's all I ever do. And a lot of times I just go in
through one exit and go out through another exit. So that is basically the only thing how I know that this place has multiple exits. And the game would really play me a fool if I realized that there is actually more of these caves. And I'm not in the right one. Am I?
No, there is
I
only
might
one
not
cave.
be in the right one though. Ow! How do you hurt so much? Come on. Oh, that explains a lot.
But did
I should probably not wearing my
Did I
life
have-
skilling gear.
skilling gear?
I'm out adventuring. That's yeah. Never mind.
Well, that explains why killing that Cyclops took me so long. Like, I bet everybody's done this at least once. And odds are, if you are doing life skilling on your mine, you have done this more than once. Like, the mobs can really wake you up pretty quickly when you have your life skill gear up. It's so funny though.
Yeah. No, they shouldn't hurt just as much. Yeah, maybe I'm actually lucky I haven't found these strong mobs just yet, because I would have been one shot. That would feel awful. Okay, I'm starting to be pretty sure that I'm just running in circles, and the caves are not actually connected, but instead there are multiple caves. Is that correct? Okay, one more circle around. I'm sorry about wasting your time. This is an explorative video, right? We are trying to explore
Okay, go. More.
this, around this area.
No,
Move
there.
further.
I'm
It's
sure there
cool.
is only one
There's
cave.
like of
I just
them,
didn't find
but it's the way that if you are trying to find, they're not in groups. They are basically are going to hurt like hell.
Oh, I found them. Good. I remember I was so happy when I finally hit a gear score where I was able to basically grind these guys. I was doing even like guild quests in here. Not because it would be the most lucrative thing to do, but just, you know, to vent my frustration of how I discovered them when they introduced them into the game, and I wasn't able to basically kill them, or like I was able to kill them, but it took me ages because they were so tough. It's like always like this. You always see an enemy that seems impossible for you to kill. Maybe like for most people it would be example of the Ash Forest. Like when you think you have a strong character, then Ash Forest Ghost comes and stabs you in the butt from behind, and 2/4 of your HP or 2/3 of your HP is suddenly gone, and then you just run for your life, and then you suddenly can grind them. It's always a little bit of satisfactory feeling.
Well then. I think I can kill them, but it will take some time. I'm scared to find out how much they're going to hurt me. Then again, I play a Guardian, so it's a little bit more forgiving. And if you are new to the Black Desert Online, and you don't know what class to play, and you don't really care about PvP that much, but you want to survive in PvE, then the Guardian is one of the strongest classes in the game.
Based, but also Striker, and also Berserker. Like, if you are new, play one of these three classes. And in case of Striker and Berserker, also would be good in PvP as well. You know, Striker, people hate Striker in PvP because he's apparently he's just grabbing everybody and then kill them. And, you know, Berserker is like... I will put it that way. There are rumors that Jay, you know, the creative director, I think it's creative director, basically the head of the Black Desert team, plays Berserker. So that's why the Berserker is so overtuned, always. As just like Succession Berserker, you just shapeshift into, well, not into a werewolf, but in some sort of like a beastie, and just tearing everything apart with your hands. Your eyes glow red, and you have enormous self-healing, and basically just running all over the place, jumping, grabbing people, killing everything. It's absolutely... And then Striker, again, people call him Monkey,
I think strikers are awesome. But if you want a big strong lady, just play Guardian. It's very good for a huge AoE. She has very large area of effect spells in her awakening form, and it's just killing half of the location effortlessly if you are appropriately geared. Simply for the fact how much she can take before she actually goes down. She have very decent hit point pool, which is one thing that is great about the Guardian. But then again, she have a lot of self-sustain in forms of warriors heals. She has strong attacks that do not really take AP too much to an accord. Like Awaken Guardian is your go-to class if you just want to play PvE and not really be bothered about it. Okay, blessed by whoa. No, just go. I want to look around, but also it's very dangerous. And if I die here, I did it for the exploration, you know. But I don't think there's like anything. That's a lot of guys. That's a lot of guys. Okay, keep going. Further. Okay, so behind me, there was actually the very heart of these shadows.
Oh, guys,
I remember this ravine.
I survived.
And yeah, you can just go around here, and this very fence, it separates the easy area from the hard one. So just don't fall into the hole like I did, and you will be fine. Good thing is, now I know that I can defeat them even though it was hard. And what is this? Okay, this seems like a black crystal to me. I don't know what this is doing here, or why. But similar black crystals are things that are corrupting like creatures' inventory, etc. So I don't know if these Shadow Knights like dragged these stones in here, or if it was here by design, or if it was like Xarka who brought it in. No, not a clue actually. Either way, this is the other entrance into this cave complex that I was talking about. And yeah, I remember this one because this goblin right here is Davi. He basically gives you a couple of quests that you can do for some quick silver. He will give you like a couple of gold bars for those, and a couple of like potions, I think, that sort of stuff. You promise him to kill some Shadow Knights, which you do, no problem. You also promise him that you will take care.
Oh, I have even coffee break integrated in the video. Perfect.
3 actual reasons. The first and main reason is it can be kind of distracting while I'm streaming. Especially the combat music, like in the cave that I have been previously. The second reason, I love a lot of tracks from them, but sometimes, especially combat music, can be a little bit overwhelming, which is tied to the reason one, but also...
Yeah, the combat music, especially in combat music in Polyforest, is absolutely insufferable. It's just... It really reminds me the soundtrack of the old school Psycho movie. You know, whenever Norman Bates was stabbing poor women in their bathroom, that kind of vibes. There's just this high pitch violin or whatever that is. This harmoniously playing all the time. It's just whenever you go farm to Camasalia, just turn the music off. You will thank me later.
This is this kind of inconsistent.
Okay.
It's like multiple of these holes. And what you can see here is just yeah.
Okay, Ratum Old Station. Mancha Forest. What's this? This is the Xarka Temple. Okay, so these are actually Shrine Warriors. So these are not Shadow Knights. So I was mistaken. So this is actually Xarka cultists, and they are different from the Shadow Knights, even though their models look similar. But at least the game is consistent about this. You know what I like about this location? Is the fact that over here there is actually how would you call it? Not galvanized, but turned into rock, solidified, I don't know, corpse of Xarka, or like Xarka avatar. So according to the lore, Xarka was actually kind of a good guy. He looks like terrifying, but it is because he was corrupted and people were giving him human sacrifices, which he didn't like. And then Ilazra came and took out his power, which is also a thing.
So basically, once again, the humankind, or like the, you know, by extension also like the elves and basically the sentient races of the Black Desert Online, they were the reason why this little god or demigod being got basically corrupted, stripped of his power, and ultimately banished. And that's why he is angry. Why he's making chaos in Serendia now. Okay. Double like disruption in doing chain quest is when it ends up with the daily quest. It's like, yeah, kill another 500 of these. Okay, I think we've seen a lot of this video. Let's catch them. You know what? Just let's catch one of them. Let's through this Western Valtaraman. Nice lake, like a pond. I think it's a pond. It's not a lake, but it isn't even properly named. The only downside of this lake is that you will see these enemies down there because the shrine of the. Oh, I made a rare jerky and I made 4 of them. Okay, so what I'm showcasing right here is one of my favorite ponds, as I correctly mentioned, in the game, where I find it very relaxing to be there. There are no enemies, just some deer running around. Even though you can see here on the minimap, right here, you can see enemies because those are those shrine knights. They are actually inside this mountain, but you won't interact with them because basically they are under you. But this place is good to relax. I was drying some meat in here, so yeah. Let's eat one. Bon appetit. The coolest shrine is directly below you. I just want to see if I've wrapped up the video somehow. So, but yeah, it was kind of boring, honestly. I don't think I'm going to publish it. Maybe if I cut it into different pieces, then maybe add in some comedy music. You know, if you are camping here, watch out for nightmares, because the elder gods always come with the nightmares and stuff. But other than that, it's a pretty neat place, don't you think? There is a similar place to this one near the Kama Sylvia entrance, which I will cover some other time. But for now, this concludes. I never did. Our just for the record. But oh, sorry. The trip and our little exploration throughout the. Well, I didn't know they have this nice circle in here. It looks like amphitheater, actually. I think this leads back to the cave. It does. Either yes. Way. Thank you for watching. This has been our journey throughout the Forest, and you can write me a comment or something. This video will be highlighted, obviously. Where you would like to explore next? Nowhere. And please then, don't do more exploration videos. At least not like this one. Well, yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna quickly pull this down so you don't see my weird recommendation on YouTube. So, it's been 4 years since I made this video and actually had it published all this time on Twitch. It's good that I still have it. Maybe it is not like the super quality work, but I like the fact that I can look into it, look what kind of knowledge of the game I had even back then, and look at how many things I can do differently if it comes to that. So yeah, I still think that despite all of these flaws and lore not making sense, the video is still one of the best sandbox MMOs out there. Now, Archage is basically cooked. Throne and Liberty is falling off. Lost Ark never really was true sandbox MMO. It was more like Diablo-esque, you know, really pay to win. And New World is so down. You know, let's actually check SteamDB for New World. So if you look at the Black Desert, okay, hold up. $14,000 players in the game right now. With a 20-hour peak of 17,000, which is... it is kind of decent on its own. It is not like the greatest, but it is decent on its own. But what is important to note is a lot of people, they're playing Black Desert as sort of standalone, like not on Steam, just like that. Let me. Now we are listening to Midnight Rain again from Turbo Night. So 14,000 is very good. 17,000 peak is great because actually a lot of people are playing on standalone clients. I do too. I do not play on Steam. Now New World, if we check New World, New World Eternum, here it is. All-time peak, almost million players. The sad part is that yes, they got introduced on console. Before they went into console, this was their whole player base, and I don't think that many people are playing on console. So it really is kind of dying out. Excuse me? I thought Lost Ark was more dead than this one. I mean, 19,000 is good. Now, provided this is the only platform Lost Ark is being played on. You know, it is by Amazon, through Steam, and that's it. So it's not really... it would be... it is a little bit better than New World, but Black Desert Online is higher, I think. Well, not I think, I know. Because you have Black Desert Mobile, and you have Black Desert Standalone. I don't think Black Desert is on consoles, but who cares? How about Throne and Liberty? About as much as Lost Ark. Interesting. What was that? The 6th of March? It skyrocketed today. Wilds of Talandra. Oh, so they released new content. I always love that when you look at these charts of MMOs, it always steadily goes down, and then they release something new. Everybody jumps back, but then it goes straight back down anyway. Well, and Final Fantasy just put everybody in their pocket. Obviously. I think a lot of people playing Final Fantasy also just on standalone, you know, Square Enix launcher. It is what it is. No, let's watch some another video. I wonder if League of Legends has some new trailers though. Because to be honest, as I stopped playing League of Legends, I really stopped caring about it. That is more than a year ago. This Wild Rift, okay, you really got me. Let's oh, it's 4 years ago? Wow, that's outdated then. Let's check official channel of League of Legends, what the videos they actually have. Hall of Legends event trailer. Okay, so they have new event. Do they have like a new champion or something? Launch trailer, skin team for new Mordekaiser. What? Dark Gambit, Season 1 Cinematic, 2025. Okay, let's watch this one. Reckoners, Origins of Noxus. I wonder if their MMO will come out eventually. Excuse me, what is going on? There's like a goop coming out of... It's not Pantheon helmet, is it?
The First Lands.
Ionia is but a doorway.
Yes, come claim your prize in my world.
Okay, who are these people? I have no idea. That one, the guy looked kind of like Vladimir, but I don't think it is him. I might be mistaken. Who is this? Is this LeBlanc?
Listen to your puppet, LeBlanc.
Ah, it is LeBlanc.
Besides, you have no host.
It is Vladimir, though.
And even if you did, the new Grand General would never approve another campaign in Ionia.
I have done your bidding. Release me.
Losing our host was an unfortunate turn. As for the might of Noxus, it won't be necessary. A single whisper can cut deeper than 1,000 blades.
To Ionia, then.
Dark Gambit. Finish your battle pass and arena climb before the end of season. How is this relevant to anything? If this was a show, I would watch it. But it's just, I don't know. Okay. Champion team, Mel. Champion spotlight, Mel. Okay, well, let's watch this. I wonder how many new champions that I don't even know about are there.
Proving yourself in Noxus is no easy feat.
Okay, hold up. Before we continue, I'm going to change the category again. Okay, so we have categories just chatting and just getting. What is just getting? It's like chatting with cats? Maybe I should do just getting. Probably some game? No. It really seemed like chatting with cats. Anything and everything cat related, including pushing stuff off your desk for no reason. I don't know who created this, but it's amazing. Anyway. Let's go back to the video.
And Mel will use every tool she can to do it, including her enemy's powers.
It's Freak talking, right? Do I remember it correctly?
In-game, Mel aims to catch out enemies, poke them down, and deal huge bursts of damage at exactly the right time. Mage players and Arcane fans, it's your time to shine. Welcome to the Mel Champion Spotlight.
Any worthwhile venture involves risk.
Before anything else, let's cover Mel's signature ability, her W, Rebuttal. Rebuttal gives her a small burst of move speed.
Rebut. Why did they have to be? Why did they have to include the butt? I don't get it. I wouldn't stand. Why is she standing near to Garen like this? I haven't played the game for like 2 years. I still know that right now she's dead because Garen will just ult her down. What are we doing?
It also grants a barrier that negates damage
Okay. I have been mistaken.
from anything except towers.
So, she's basically Fiora but better?
And reflects enemy projectiles back at their casters.
Oh, so it is literally Fiora, but more brain dead. Got it.
Auto attacks, waves, missiles, anything that would be blocked by Yasuo's wind wall gets reflected by Rebuttal. Reflected
Anything that would be... Hold on. So anything that will be reflected by Yasuo's wind wall. So are you telling me that she has immunity like Fiora, probably for a longer time, because Fiora has it for like what? 0.75 seconds. This one has it for longer. And it also simulates Yasuo's wind wall, and instead of destroying projectiles, it is reflecting those back. Yeah, it's great to see they are releasing such balanced champions.
projectiles are converted into magic damage, but function as they normally would otherwise. Like this, and that, and this one, and that one. You get it. Now for Mel's passive, Searing
That
Brilliance.
is nasty,
Damaging
man.
an enemy with an attack or ability applies a stack of Overwhelm. You can stack Overwhelm infinitely, charging up potential damage. When this damage amount exceeds a target's current health and shields, Overwhelm detonates to execute them.
Nothing I couldn't handle.
Searing Brilliance also empowers Mel's next basic attack to fire 3 additional missiles after casting an ability. She can cast up to 3 abilities.
She was released 4 months ago. They should have released her 2 months ago and make her into April Fool's joke.
abilities in a row to gain a max of 9 extra missiles on her next attack. Mel's Q is Radiant Volley. She unleashes a barrage of explosions in a target area. Each one deals a small amount of damage and stacks her passive. Her E is Solar Snare.
Okay, hold up. Let me check the comments. Can't wait April to see two males in Europe just playing tennis with their E and W. Okay. Can't wait to see my whole team get hit by my own ult. Instaban for 2 months until she's nerfed to the ground. Check. I hope Veigar players know what it feels like to get deleted by a 1000+ AP ult now. As a Lilia main, I will finally get my well-deserved rest as well. Oh, right, because she puts you asleep by her own. Okay. Her W is gigabusted. That reflect is kinda insane, not gonna lie. Oh, she was in Arcane. I see. I haven't seen the second season yet. Reflecting Briar. Can't wait to be blitz hooked by Mel. Okay, I think the players are not overreacting as much as they probably should have, because this kid seems absolutely nasty. Like the W alone. It is not healthy for the game. They're literally making power creep by releasing more and more broken champions.
Mel sends out an orb of...
I mean, I don't care. I don't play it and I don't intend to. But I was curious what they are releasing. I've got to see they are releasing more bullshit, so to speak.
unstable energy that files wildly as it travels. Enemies hit by the energy take damage over time and are slowed for the duration. Those who touch the orb itself are rooted. Lastly, Mel's ult is Golden Eclipse. Passively, it increases her damage from overwhelm stacks.
Yeah, but I don't care. I want you to see... Skin trailer, Fractured Jinx. Okay. Do they have actually like something interesting? Ambessa champion spot. Another champion spotlight 6 months ago? How many champions did you release, guys? Hold up. What's this? It's Silas, right? Arcane. Aurora? Oh wait, I vaguely remember this one. It's like a bunny girl. Let's see what she does. Smolder. Oh yeah, I knew Smolder. I think I even played Smolder. No, wait, I didn't. Or did I? I think I did. He was like stacking some bullshit, and I did play away. So, on the curse of me not playing, they didn't. They released 2 champions, and that's about it. Okay, let's check Ambessa.
Ambessa is a general of Clan Medarda, a Noxian family of incredible renown, power, and influence. As a great warrior and tactician, she's
Wasn't this one in Arcane as well?
ruthless, fearless, and is capable of anything to protect her family, no matter the cost. Those of you who watch
Isn't that like Mel's mother?
Arcane already know her story and how strong she is. I'm Island, and welcome to the Champion Spotlight, a sua campeã. Escudo e ultimate de lutador, mas sim de uma de te chamar pelo nome completo.
I'm already so bored. Show me
Aurora
Aurora.
has always seen the world in her own way, with the spirit and material realms blended together before her eyes. Going and going and going and going and going.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really know what is the appeal of this game anymore. I really don't know. Anyway. Oh no. I moved my drawing board. God damn it. Okay. Maybe just a little bit. Yeah, like this. Perfect. Perfect. Anyway. What games would you like see me play? Because those are really important questions. And when I'm asking that, I mean mostly MMOs, right? Because I will keep playing story games. So my plan for now is... Hold on. So first we will finish Expedition 33, right? Then we'll play AI Limit. Which I don't know how long that one is. Now, we still have Lords of the Fallen. So, let's see if we're gonna play this one or not. We still have Final Fantasy 15. Right? But those are all things that I have like a depth to finish. Now I somehow also said that I would like to play Neo 2 once I'm done with the first one. But considering the time investment and what I have on my plate now, I don't think this is going to happen, so to speak. So we're not going to be playing Neo 2 anytime soon, I don't think so. We'll focus on this one and then on AI Limit. But I will also want to do some other things. So in here we have the space for the MMOs. And I really need to choose one to focus on while streaming. Because now I'm all over the place. And I do have like Once Human that I could play. I do have World of Warcraft that I could play. Right. I do have BDO, which I'm considering. So those are all the possibilities. But it kind of seems a little bit overwhelming. What I certainly will do, and will start doing by tomorrow, if I manage to get some good sleep, so I'm going to focus on my consulting channel. Which is called Grumpy Meowster Consulting. And the current topic that we will be discussing tomorrow, and I will be streaming this on Twitch and on my other YouTube channel that is actually called Grumpy Meowster Consulting. The topic is
how to get anything done. So this is what I'm making a video about. Basically, after I've made the video tackling some topics about knowledge base, and then another video that was talking about applying your basics to improve your work. Next one is going to be how not to get distracted, because I often feel overwhelmed by anything I do. So I put my experiences and what worked for me together, and I've already written a script and recorded audio for the video like that. But I realized that here on Twitch, if we go on Twitch, we have co-working and studying basic category. So I will just boot up the stream and we'll work on the stream like that. On Grumpy Mouse Consulting, I'm also using my VTuber persona. So you will see Nianta there as well. And apart from that, we also have the upcoming fencing channel, where I would like to talk about my progression on the saber, which I recently started. And boy, it is something completely different to fencing I was used to practicing until now, meaning longsword, meaning rapier, meaning one-handed arming swords. The saber has its specifics, but I like it. I didn't know it's going to be that much of a fun. But I also thought that maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to dive more into things like showcasing the basic directions of cuts, you know, basic positions of your weapon in guards, you know, basic stabbing movements, footwork, and all of the basic stuff that I think I already have mastered, and explain its importance. You know, maybe I could try something. Ah, yeah, this is going to be perfect. Let's set up some more clutter into my stream. Just yeah, hold on. What's it called? So this is VZX player. It currently doesn't do much. No sound detected. What are you doing? Okay, no. Ah, there we go. Perfect. So this is basically visualization for any music you are currently playing. Even though for some reason it doesn't work in here. Interesting. Doesn't want to be recorded, it seems. Don't worry, I'll fix it. I'll fix it. These songs are kicking though. What are we listening now? Hooker Havoc from Night Stop. So, if the game capture doesn't work, we can try window capture. There we go, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, we need to put it right here. Okay, this is working quite nicely. I think this is sick. Let's use this while I'll talk, right? It needs music in the background for it to work. They also have various settings, so I can have like this meta swarm thing. But we can have more packs like this. What are we playing now, by the way? Wages? Let's try this one. These control panels will soon disappear. This is pretty, isn't it? Look at them go. It's all the sound waves, you know. It's all the sound waves. I wonder if it is good on the table. Like, it looks sick. If I'm going to play like a video or something, then this essentially we won't see it, right? So I'm considering to putting it like maybe all the way up there. On the top left corner. Or it could be like chilling in some sort of little TV screen. Okay, let's keep it up for a second. Maybe, yeah. I'm gonna watch another one of my videos, my older ones. Let me find it real quick. Now it's hard to find anything. I uploaded so many videos in such a short span that I don't even know what I have on my channel anymore. And the worst clutter is those that are unpublished. Oh, we have some Warframe quests too. Interesting. And Duviri Paradox? Okay. Oh my god, what is that thumbnail? Okay, this literally scared me. Hold on. Can you step out of playing? I want to see the thumbnail. Okay, maybe I'm just gonna have to find it somewhere. Alright, there it is. Perfect. So just so you know, my thumbnail was this. What the hell? Why is this so creepy? Oh my god. That's horrifying. What is going on with the... Why are you freaking out? It's just... Okay, let's put in a new effect. This music somehow cheated the system, making all these waves freak out. Stop laughing, okay? Just stop. It's not funny, it's I'm building serious stuff right here, okay? We have actually a revamped story for New World too. Okay, here it seems I've already reached. Okay. How about I... Okay, hold on. How about I play a spooky story that I have on my channel? How about that? That could work, right? So we do have this. So it is called Dream that I had as a kid. And okay, this is just a tiny little story. It is based on real events, by the way. Okay, so I'm just going to play it. I will shut up. I will let myself. I made this video quite recently. This is 4 months old. Hello. Thanks for joining in. Today I would like to do something a little bit different. I'm not usually going into just chatting category, but I remembered something, a dream that I had as a kid, and I remember it as if it was yesterday, very lively. Of course, as the years are going, you do forget some of the details, but there are still few images that stick with me to this day, and unless you noticed by the background music or by the tone of this video, this is going to be a little bit creepy. I'm not saying it's going to be super scary. No, don't worry, there will be no gore or some nonsense, but it was still a pretty bit disturbing. Now, I don't necessarily remember how old I was, but I do remember that as a kid you usually do not have expectations or an image or understanding what the death is, and that we can and will ultimately lose something as the journey progresses forward in your life, and then you inevitably lose loved ones and close ones and people you knew, be it personally or maybe just some actor that you liked and you saw him on TV, and then inevitably even these actors will pass away because you are a kid. But you don't understand that, you don't know what the death is, but you have kind of a feeling. And I think my first realization about what the death is was actually this dream. Now, what you can see on the screen here is just I let the AI generate a couple of pictures of me, not of me, for me. The first two are kind of just a funny story. I tried to create a final boss of Prague, so what I called it. So here we have two final bosses of Prague, as you can see on the picture. But the other pictures that I'm going to show just in a second are really tied to the dream, and what I tried to do was I did try to explain ChatGPT about the atmosphere that the dream had, and surprisingly the ChatGPT generated an image that might not be quite the dream I had, but it was really close. Now imagine you are about 6, maybe 7 years old, kid really, and in your dream you go into a very weird place. You can smell the dampness and the moistness in the air and the smell of soil, and you see the black iron gate, and you know you have to go inside. What you don't know is that it is a crypt, or maybe a sort of barrow, something between crypt and a barrow in an old cemetery. And you just go in, there is a dust everywhere. You open the creaky, black, slightly rusty gate and you go inside. And then everything fades to black, and when you come to your senses, you are in not cave, not quite. It's an old crypt. You have a little bit of understanding of what crypt is. Maybe you've seen a movie because you were a kid. Maybe something scared you. Maybe you went on a school trip to a place that is called as the bone place, where this is essentially the crypt where there is a lot of bones and there is even ornaments made out of bones and everything. By the way, this just shows how twisted our ancestors in medieval times were, but I digress. It's called ossuary, by the way, the thing that I'm talking about. And it's real. You have a lot of ossuaries across the Europe. And ossuaries is essentially mass grave, but not in a way that you would like dig a hole and throw dead bodies in it. It is a mass grave in a way that you really have one large crypt, and the bones of your ancestors are in that crypt, and they are being set up to form various, not ornaments, but like various structures, so it looks tidy. It is something that is so creepy, but it is actually protected as, in various countries, it is protected as a cultural heritage. So they are real, ossuaries. And it is one of the most scary things that you can visit in real life. There is so much remains of dead people in one place that you can legally visit are ossuaries. So I woke up within a crypt, within this slightly cold place, chilling place with the smell of dirt and stone and generally the old moldiness all around you, and everything was dusty. But I wasn't alone. There were skeletons all around me, and these skeletons were alive. They were talking to each other. Casually, and it wasn't that they would be like bloodthirsty monsters. What I was most scared in a dream, I remember, as I was looking throughout this candle-lit crypt, only a live person in there, and there were about about a dozen, maybe slightly less than a dozen, I don't know, 7, 8 skeletons around me, or decrepit or old in a clothing that's been slowly rotting away and falling away from their skeletal bodies, with hair and facial hair, which is, by the way, something that is quite often found on skeletons because the hair do not rot. I don't know how I knew it as a kid. Maybe it's just, it was there in a dream, and they were talking to each other. The most dreadful thing was that I felt ignored, as if because I was living they saw right through me, as if I didn't belong. And I don't know what that feeling was, why I was so scared, why I was feeling so alone. I wanted to get out, and as I was thinking about going out, the thought process just went back to that black gate, to the black rusty gate with the dust just whirling through the air as you tried to open it. But I couldn't just quite stand up and leave. There wasn't any explanation or any reason why. I was just paralyzed, sitting there watching as these skeletons were talking, and I was desperate to at least be acknowledged, to at least know what's going on. I remember there was this skeleton that has been the closest to me. You cannot tell if it was a skeleton of a man or a woman. I remember it had long, decrepit hair and some very old remnants of clothing that it has been dressed into, and it all just looked very old. The most creepy thing about this is just by listening to this story again, I can see that dream that I had over 30 years ago so lively, like if it was yesterday that I dreamt it. And it is by far, to this day, it is probably the
most like creepy and mysterious dream I've ever had. Without a doubt. A little of lightning of the candles that I had. And then finally this skeleton acknowledged me. He looked at me directly in my eyes with his skull with those empty holes instead of eyes, and was looking directly at me. And at that point, just as the background music stopped right now, all of the skeletons stopped talking, and every single one of them looking at me, at my direction, directly. It was as if they were looking in my soul. I was focusing on this one who noticed me first. I was speechless. I didn't know what to say or what to ask, and I had so many questions. How do I get out? Why? What's going on here? Then the skeleton spoke directly to me, and to this day I remember that voice and the one sentence that the skeleton told me. He opened his mouth, and all he said was, "We are all dead here." And then I woke up. That was it. So think of it whatever you want to. Just remember, whenever you see a rusty old iron gate leading to a burrow, think twice about going inside. Thanks for watching. Well, that was creepy, wasn't it? The best part about things like this is you don't even have to make them up. It's literally, it came up to me in a dream. Over 30 years ago. I don't know how old I was. It might be because of one of those creepy books that kids have to read as their mandatory literature in school. Maybe it was something my grandmother read to me. Maybe I saw some sort of weird movie. I really don't know. But the weirdest part is you would expect to be scared. But I really wasn't. I wasn't that scared. I was more like intrigued and confused. And I remember all that confusion right now. And I was scared a little bit. But you would expect kids to be freaking out. Right? From if they would dream something like this. But I didn't. I don't know why. Okay. But maybe it was mostly because I didn't really realize at the time, because I was simply too young, how incredibly creepy this dream and especially its conclusion is. I think I would be more scared if something like this would be in my dreams nowadays than I was when I was a kid. Anyway, I hope you liked it. I don't know what happened with the wave player. What you doing, buddy? Are we cool? Okay, very cool. Good. Well, I'm not playing anything, that's true, but he should be tracking my voices as he's doing right now. See? Just say something and he should immediately react. Bam! Or maybe it's just me. Let's play some music again.
Wait. That's a wrong music player. Also, I don't get banned for that impromptu anime picture that has been in my feed. Okay, now it's blasting. Look at the music making waves. So the software that I'm using for this is it's called VZX player. And basically, the reason I got it was I wanted. Okay, it's getting late. I wanted to not react. I wanted to listen to music and basically to relax while listening, but also watching to some music. Namely, Poets of the Fall at the time. And yeah, this was what scratched the itch. Because there is like some number of these musical games where you can basically do something to the beats of the song that you upload. But I wanted more of a visual representation that is not as interactive. And this was exactly this. Look at how beautiful this is. I think I remembered that there were like these screensavers in the old school days of Windows 95, you know. You had various screensavers that didn't per se react to music, but were basically floating and creating these nice little pictures and scenery. And I was like, there must be something like that that would react to music. And there really is. And it's cool to see that it really does react to the music. You know, and then the more you're blasting, the more dynamic the effect gets, but also if your music slows down, it gets a little bit more like calmer. See? Like right here. And the colors are changing everything according to how fast, how deep or how high the music is. Love it. Okay. So today we have been streaming for 3.5 hours. I feel like it's about the time to wrap things up. Tomorrow, I'm not going to be streaming games during the day, but I will be streaming in the co-working category, trying to push more videos on my secondary channel. And after that, in the evening, if I feel like I've done a good job, we will progress with some Clair Obscure Expedition 33 and move on with the story a little bit again. Because I guess we all want to know how the story goes, right? Yes, yeah, perfect. You know, I should make this loading screen conversations a topic. I will think about when it would be best to just create loading screen conversations for every week at least once. You know, it was like someday, like Friday or maybe Monday. Also now it is a dry season in World of Warcraft, but I need to make it so it doesn't collide with my raiding schedule. I also maybe just tone down the raiding. We've been raiding with 2 guilds recently for a couple of months, doing a lot of raiding nights. It's getting a little bit old, a little bit boring. And you realize that you don't really need to have more than 1 geared up character. We are listening to Leftover Love by Nitran87 and Atian, probably collaboration. Man, this new retrowave style music, they are just something else. They really are. Yeah, if you're listening to a retrowave for a long time, it might get a little bit boring. But you can also find out so many gems like the Midnight or Lebrock, you know, Ultra Boss, all of these guys, and their music is just great. Midnight was actually so great that me and my wife, we went to the Midnight concerts together. The Midnight. They are based in Los Angeles, but they were kind enough to make a concert in Europe, even here in Prague. So it was amazing. And the vibe that night. And they usually, when they playing Vampires, which is their iconic saxophone using song, their saxophonists were just tracing around in the audience. This is something that can be done only in indie bands. Like, you would never see it in like a major band or anything like that. Or I don't think so, at least. I don't know. I haven't been on that many concerts in my life, so. Okay. The music stopped. So I think we should wrap things here. I thank everybody for watching. It has been a nice stream today. I've talked about a lot of topics, even though I feel like I've got lost a little bit in the rambling. Yeah, what I would like to do, realistically, would be some sort of consulting session where people could just come in and ask me questions about the, you know, IT, knowledge bases, self-service, you know, ITIL, whatever boring, stupid topic of the corporate, you know, IT departments have. I could go through those topics with them and share all of the knowledge that I know, that I accumulated. That would be sick. I wonder if we can make this happen. But until then, I will have to wrap things up here. I need to get some sleep so we are able to actually get some work done tomorrow. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on tomorrow's stream, which will be here on Twitch/Raywhisper, and on YouTube it will be on Grumpy Consulting channel. You can find the link on the homepage of my main channel or here in the text. I'm going to quickly share it. So here we go. This is where you will find me tomorrow on YouTube. Good night.